Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Bob.
And I'm Mike.
I'm Daniel.
This is the Board Game Rundown, and today we're starting our top favorite 50 games.
Top favorite.
Top favorite,
of
best
all
The
time.
best.
That's right, all time.
The ultimate.
Yeah, my 50
The
are
greatest.
the best. My 50 are
Well,
the best. Everybody else, when we have crossover, you're right.
We'll see what they say.
TBD.
TBD. Don't give away your list yet.
Tim
As
Bob
always,
Dan.
lists are arbitrary, right?
Well, that doesn't even leave Mike in there. I
Nah,
like it.
TBD.
Man, this list
Sorry.
got even better.
Even better already.
Go watch some football,
And in
guys.
order of importance.
Okay.
All right, guys, we're gonna. I used Pub Meeple. Let's
Same.
just real quick.
We all use.
Yep.
It's the greatest thing ever.
Okay.
Great
so,
for ranking engine.
Yeah, so do Pub Meeple, then kind of rearrange a little bit within that. Honestly, the greatest thing about Pub Meeple to me is that you can also look at your previous lists. Like that is huge. You're just like, oh, that's how I ranked it last year. It's just right there. It's so
See, I couldn't
easy.
do that because I did my whole list, somehow lost it, and then had to redo it.
You must have logged in as a guest and not
Yeah.
That's
log in.
hours of lost work.
Oh my God.
I mean, just
Hours.
doing, I think,
It took me
114 I
days.
did.
Thank
Oh my god.
Hours.
I did like 400 something. It took me days.
400?
No
Bob,
thanks.
you
Yeah.
gotta
No.
you gotta
I really gotta
do that better.
I do.
I go to Pub Meeple and I only rank games that I gave at least a 7
a good idea.
because that narrows it down to the top like 150. And if we're only doing a top 50, these games better be 7 or above.
Well, here's the thing: is you only have ranked like 15 games and 7 or higher.
That's
so
true.
I haven't
Well, I
ranked
don't
any
rank
games.
everything as a 10. Tim.
I have like 2 games on there and I
Exactly.
haven't ranked.
I just have an idea of which ones are going to be in my top 100, and I just throw those in.
After about
Start
2
from
days, I
there.
finally started getting there's no way. And I would delete from it. Yeah, I started eliminating some.
Yes.
I just like to have some that I know I'm not going to pick.
Yeah, so I can say not you
Yeah.
every time. Yeah.
Spiteful.
That's right.
There was lots of football to watch while I was doing it, so I could just
There
watch
was
football.
that as well.
I could just sit and watch
Terrible.
football, and I
It was
could
perfect.
hit the thing. It was great.
I didn't do a lot of mine at work. Just saying.
I actually did not. You'll also notice there's a lot more devices on the table than usual. I've actually got a spreadsheet of the top 50 from last year, and this device for BG stats for plays. So we'll be able to kind of reference where these
I'm
games
not
were
even
last
touching
time.
BG stats, but I do have the list, and I've made some notes as far as if stuff has moved
Yeah.
or if it's
Do
Do you
new
have
on the list.
BG stats on your iPad?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, no.
You can, but you got to make sure you
Okay.
have them talking. Otherwise,
I was going to say, if you
double
did,
log.
then technically you are touching BG stats.
Oh, that's fun.
Thanks.
Anyway, though,
It's your phone in your pocket. It's touching your leg.
Yeah.
Anything special about this list? About anything that you think you changed about how you made
How
it?
I made the list? No, it's pretty much the same thing. Like I looked at the 2 games, and be like, if I had perfect player count and the amount of time I needed to play, I would rather play this.
That's kind of. I tried to
I
look
give
at
it
all,
ideal.
all of my games. Like, this is the ideal situation.
It's amazing how I don't know the word for this, but how like current it is, because like this is one of those top lists that like if I did this in another 2 weeks, it would be different because it's
Oh, yeah.
what do I want to play right now?
Sure.
And that's not necessarily always the case for me when I make a top list. Like a lot of the times I do feel like these are the top 10 worker placement games, for example, right? These are the best ones. And that's not going to change in 2 weeks unless a new one comes out, right? But for this one, top 50 games of all time is what do I want to play right now? What is my what game am I enjoying the most right now? And that's gonna change. And there are games where I'm looking at my list of like, wow, that's that high, and it's like, yeah, but it's because I'm having so much fun with it right now. Sure, next year it might drop 20 slots, but right now I want to play that game like literally right now. And so this game, it's amazing how much this one moves around based on time compared to other lists, I think.
That's why I a lot of times call it like the personal hotness list.
Sure.
It's, what do I feel like when I rank these games? Which ones stand out to me? I started the ranking actually about a month ago, and some stuff has moved since then. I tweak it quite a bit.
I couldn't start that early because there's just been things that have either come into my life or that I've gotten to play again recently. And because there are some things that have moved down or off just because it's like, well, I haven't even played that game in a year. I'd rather, like, 8 out of the 10 we're going to do today are new to my top 50.
Nice.
I would say
Shocked me.
3 of mine have dropped 30 or more spaces.
And,
with-
one has moved up and one has moved down.
With 41 through 50 here, I have 5 that are new to the list.
I believe I have 4 that are new to the list. There was something else I was gonna say too, but I guess I'll figure it out while we're
Well,
talking.
Dan, this is a question that you asked last year when we did these, and so maybe this is what you forget is
Maybe.
for the folks at home, if there's any games that stand out to you, which ones out of our 10 here would you like to play? Or
Yes.
which ones are your favorites? I know I always like to pay attention to which ones you guys have, or which ones I have not played from your list that I'd be interested in trying. So.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that always brings up kind of the fun conversation. Like, gosh, we've never played that together. We need to play that or whatever.
Yeah.
and we
Yeah,
and we
right.
never do.
We don't
never
play
do.
games together. Not together.
We actually did on Friday,
We did.
actually.
Well, we didn't
I
have
know.
Tim though. We left Tim away.
Yeah, that
well,
was
that was
smart.
intentional.
That was planned by
That's
design.
smart.
But I didn't want to add another 2 hours to that game by adding another player.
It's
Wait
true.
a minute. I'm not Spencer.
No, it's
That
just
would have been more than
No, it's just amazing how much time it added. I
Oh,
won't go into
nuclear?
it. Yeah. Well, I wasn't gonna go
No,
into it
not
yet,
that
but-
one.
Oh,
The
yeah.
other one.
Yeah. So,
Okay. Well, let's dig into these lists. We'll just start with Bob. We'll go around and finish with Mike. So we'll
Left to
start
right,
with, like-
I'm terribly confused.
huh?
What?
I'm kidding.
Oh.
Okay.
So it's like I was confused.
Yeah.
All right, Bobby, get us started off with
All right.
number 50.
50. This one almost was a drop of 30 or more, but it did drop 28 spaces.
Nice.
But it's hanging on.
It's hanging on. It's a fun game. I want to play it again. I missed my opportunity at JuliaCon because I was playing Marrakesh with Mike, but My Father's Work.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a great worker placement game. Actually has a creepy meter on it, so like the more weird experiments you do, the creepier you get, and the less
Tim
likely you are to be
meter.
able to go to town.
The Tim meter.
That's nicknamed the Tim meter. But yeah, it's a great Renegade games, beautiful components. It's a bunch of fun, beautiful box art. I still have it displayed like by my table with like the full art out because it is a very cool looking art piece.
Yeah.
Those components are
I was gonna say
bonkers.
Yeah.
some of the best components in the industry.
Oh my
Yeah, out of the
gosh,
box, standard edition.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They,
for sure.
they are incredible. Yeah, I might talk about this later.
I don't think any of us have played that game since it got reviewed, or maybe one other time.
I
since
Well, I
then?
think one other time. Yeah.
One other time.
I would like
Yeah.
to play it.
Still
again. I was
love
hoping
it.
to play it that weekend. I had plans to play it, but
I
But
assume-
you had to get Mike in trouble.
I did.
So
It wasn't me.
I assumed
true.
that game was going to be falling on a lot of people's lists because nobody's played it recently.
Yep.
you allowed Mike to get in trouble, or you helped Mike get in trouble. He helped.
He
I'm
enabled
okay with
the
helping.
trouble.
I'm an enabler.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay. My number 50 is new to the list, like most of the games here. And I got to play it with these clowns. They taught me. And then I got to play it at Thanksgiving a few times. And that is Heat. Pedal to the
Yes!
Metal. It just snuck on the list. It bumped
Nice.
off some games that were very high on my list
Like around 50.
last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, around 50. No, like, there's a shot. Mike and I are going to do our top 50 outside of the
Sure.
50.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, we'll do 100 to 51.
101, you mean?
Never seen that before.
Yeah. 101. I don't know.
Spoilers.
Anyways, but we're going to do that.
We'll
and
get
there's
there.
so many games that were on my list that are now, like, I was like, oh, I guess I'm going to talk about it.
Probably
on
the
live stream.
same amount that are new.
Probably.
Yeah, just not as many.
Or-
Yeah,
you
moved
know
in.
what, though?
Probably
There's
moved that many back
some-
out.
There's some that are falling even
Further?
farther.
Man, you
Yeah.
have games
Crazy.
that fell. Man, he really liked those games.
Yeah.
Still do. I still do. But anyways,
Familiarity, Cult of the New.
So many games to love.
Heat,
Yeah.
Pedal the Metal.
It's
It's
fantastic.
it's my
It'll
great
be a
racing
few
game.
weeks before you hear my in-depth discussion on it.
Yeah.
It won't be on mine. My number 50 was number 49 last
Wow.
year. Look at that.
Oh,
Look at
you
that.
rascal.
I know. I'm nothing
You
if
did
not
play one new game this
consistent.
year. So
It was number 49, and I actually just played this game
Oh,
Friday night.
I know it is. I got the spreadsheet.
XCOM from
Nice.
Fantasy Flight Games. I just really, really like this game. It is definitely like a divisive game. I'm not gonna argue that in any way. People don't like real-time games, and this one is not only a real-time game, but it's a annoyingly real-time game. I mean, you literally have 10 seconds to make your decision, and then it's on to the next
I love
decision.
it. Yep.
Or, I mean, technically you can take an infinite amount of time, but then every time you do, you go past your 10 seconds, it's going to punish you later. And the best thing is, it won't tell you how it's going to punish you.
Just
The
gonna
game's
do
just
it.
gonna start messing around the order of things, or it's gonna start giving you less time in the future to do things, and you just don't know what the game's gonna do. But basically, this is a 4-player co-op game based on the video game series, where each one has an assigned job and something they're managing, and the app is gonna say, Science Officer, Research Technology 1, Squad Leader, assign soldiers to the base, and you're just doing things over and over again. And then once you're out of things to do, you enter the resolution phase, and you just reap the consequences of everything that you just did, every decision you made. And I really find this to be one of the most fun, engaging, cooperative games that's out there. It's not the best game out there.
Well, clearly.
Well, sure.
There's
I meant like
49
as far as difficult co-ops go. It's not like
sure.
the best one out there. But I think it's really good, and I think more people should take a look at it. And it's also funny, we just had a subscriber in the Discord say he really dislikes this game. Again, I totally get it. I just love it. Unfortunately, when we taught it, we played on normal mode.
My bad.
And we were teaching 2 players.
Yeah.
And when you do normal mode, it doesn't tell players what to do. It just says
Do it.
Research Officer, draw cards. It doesn't even say draw cards. It says whatever the wording is for
Yeah,
that.
it's your turn.
Yeah, basically.
Scientist,
And
research.
Yeah, research.
Yeah.
And so, I played the game 30 times or something, and even I have to go, okay, hold on, pause it. How many cards do I draw? I don't remember. Because when you play on beginner mode, it says, do this. The chief scientist draws 6 cards for that, and it like explains it. And when I'm teaching the game, I like to play with that mode. Once everyone knows how, I don't care. I usually would look up before we play. We also played it impromptu, like we were just like, let's play this. So I was not ready at all to remember how many cards I draw and all this kind of stuff. So I'm sorry, Mike, if it hindered your experience at all, that we were like, I'm sorry, Mike, I don't remember what you're supposed to do right now. I have to look it up, But I
Now,
love playing this game.
I have 2 questions. Did you forget to die?
Did I free? No, we died.
Okay. And then, so the Eric Lang signature on that box actually lowered it?
We didn't play mine.
Oh,
It was my copy,
we
so
played
it was-
Bob's.
Oh,
We did
that
talk about
explains
running
it.
back to my house
did.
just to grab the lid.
Got the lid and ran it back. Yeah.
That explains it. That
But yeah,
explains. Okay,
so,
never mind. Everything makes sense now.
Okay.
But XCOM, just a fun game. I like it.
Yep. It's good.
I
love the
enjoyed
real
it.
timiness
I'd
of
like
it.
to play it again to try the other roles for sure.
It's very fun, very difficult. Again, not everybody's cup of tea, but I do enjoy the stress, the tension. I think it's
Yeah.
great.
And I know Mike was talking about showing a little bit of interest into the video game as well because he never played it, and I wasn't sure how seeing the board game in action made
translate to a cell for the video game.
Maybe I don't want to play this video game. I'm not sure.
Nailed it.
The video
like
game is
pain.
not real time like that.
Look at my butt handed to me digitally as well.
Anyway, that was me.
All right. Speaking of one Origins experience, we'll transition to another Origins experience. I actually played this for the first time last year. This is definitely not Cult of the New. This game is from 2004.
I know it.
Yep, this is one of Bob's favorites. He'll be talking about it later. But this is one of my favorite experiences from Origins, and that was when we played Downfall of Pompeii. This
so
snuck
good.
into my top 50 this year. It's a great game.
Yep.
One of our regular viewers, Andrew, brought his daughter to Origins. We played it with them. I'll have the pictures of that in the B-roll because why not? It was one of my favorite experiences watching his daughter light up with glee when she got to chuck her dad into the volcano.
So satisfying.
Because that's what's so great about this game is that it is the Mount Vesuvius is about to erupt. And so they're trying to move people into the city, but then get as many people out of the city as you can before their home gets filled with lava. And that happens kind of randomly, so you don't really know where
it's
that
coming
lava is
out.
going to come from. You have some decision to make on which way it flows. But ultimately, even though this is a gateway game, it's an efficiency puzzle for gamers because you have to efficiently get people moved into places close to the exits and then efficiently move them out of those exits.
When you describe it like that, it does not sound fun.
Yeah.
When
No.
it is like throwing my friends at volcanoes.
It's so much. when he explains it like that, I'm like, man, that game sounds good. Unfortunately, I really dislike this game.
I'm like,
That's the thing.
both of those
It's so
things.
easy to play, but it's really an efficiency puzzle. But for newer gamers, it's like
chucking
sweet.
people in a volcano.
I'm chucking people in the volcano.
See, I
right.
love efficiency puzzles. And when I play that game, I'm just like, you're just chucking people in a volcano.
You're focusing on the wrong part.
You gotta determine where to build them. You need to move them to other groups so that you can then move the group,
Yes.
chain your movement
Yes.
together, and it just feels really good. And it's just most survivors at the end wins.
Yeah,
It's just
the
a
tiebreaker is the bodies in the volcano.
fantastic gateway game. I finally have
Fantastic.
played it enough to go, you know what? Bob was right.
I need to just design a game where like the whole point is you're just like ejecting people into space or something so that you get that same feeling, but
There you
like
go.
it's good.
Or like on a sinking boat, you're just kind of throwing them overboard.
Yes, there you go. There you go.
Then check your buoyancy.
You have to yell man
we need 2 more
overboard
people.
every Check your buoyancy. Okay.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's go to number 49.
49.
All right. Yeah, good job. This one wasn't on my list last year, but it was on my top 30 from the year before, which is a little weird.
Okay.
But it made it back on this list. Barrage. Yeah, so Barrage.
Interesting. So
yeah.
maybe you just forgot about it last year because you
could
do
have
really
been.
like
I
this
do really
game.
like this game, yes. But you're basically just trying to. Oh, there's all this water that's flowing down this mountain. You're trying to harness it with dams and turbines and create energy. And it has a really neat system where, depending on what you're building, you're putting all your workers and pieces and stuff in like this little pie grid, and it keeps turning. And then all those pieces are locked up until they come out the other end, and then you can use them again, put them back to work, and do things. And it's a really neat system. It's pretty complicated. I'm excited that they just finished their Kickstarter, and they should be shipping soon a bunch of different maps. So they have a specialized 2-player map, and then there's a couple other like 3 and 4-player maps to kind of obviously change how the water falls and everything. So yeah, I'm excited to try those.
I
out.
love the way they do the construction with the stuff, and you got the little wheel.
Yeah,
and then it
you
turns.
keep turning it,
And
yeah.
then, and then you get your stuff.
Stuff
You're like,
back,
yay,
yeah.
now I can do things.
Right.
It's like the perfect example of a gimmick that makes perfect sense and is useful. Like,
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's going to take them, this long to build that, put them on this part of the pie. And
Right.
So as they
Well, and it's
rotate
also
around-
like the whole thing is a construction
Right.
theme. So like
Yes.
having like a turning gear kind of opening things up, it's just very clever design.
And it is so satisfying when you pull off
Or
really
a
good
water
combos
wheel.
to get the water to go through.
Correct.
And I
Yep.
channel it through this. It's going to go through my generators,
Mm-hmm.
but you're going to get stuff because it's going over your dam, like all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
I
Like,
I think I only played this game once, and I didn't love it, but I didn't dislike it. I just think that it's a game where if you're playing with people that know the engine, I
You're at a
don't know if you
disadvantage.
stand a chance.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's because the whole game is an efficiency puzzle, and learning how to do that. I think you'd have to be really, really good at that type of problem solving in order to stand a
well,
chance.
you might
I
like
think.
it because we're not throwing guys into the waterfall.
That's true. That's you know what?
Like-
I'm changing my 50.
Now, if we were throwing guys into the waterfall,
You're
like,
eh.
Mike and I, we're all like, yay!
Right.
Dan's like,
I bought this game from Tim because I
did?
just really need to play it.
The art's
Luciani just seems like he cannot miss. We've really been enjoying his co-design with David Turksey, Nucleum, here lately.
Yep.
And I really enjoyed Darwin's Journey,
Same.
so I bought
same
Barrage
guy.
from
Same
Tim.
guy.
And he's got tons of hits. They're all bangers. It's
Yep.
just, this is, I think, his highest rated game, and I just really need to play it.
Garages?
Yeah.
it's good.
Because people haven't gotten to the Nucleum yet.
Nucleum's really good.
Yeah.
All right, my 49, also new to this list. This is a social deduction game that combines a dice mechanic that I really enjoy. And when we get this to the table, we always have a good time, and that is Cult of the Deep.
Oh,
It is
nice.
the art is fantastic. It's
is.
really well made. This was our introduction to the people at BA Games,
Yeah.
and we really like them. But I really like this game. I look at this game all the time, and it's like, oh, how can I get that played? Like, where can I, what
Right.
group? Like, because that's the other thing, right? Is like, again, I don't get this played a ton, but I'm kind of always willing to play it, and because of the
Player
style
count.
of game is really fun, and then again, I just love looking at the art and everything for it. And it's basically like Bang, except with cultists, right?
Bang the dice game.
Bang, but better.
Yeah. So you know who the high priest is, and you're either like trying to kill the high priest or help him survive. And that's it. Everybody's got different roles, and the dice you roll, everybody's got asymmetric player powers. So you're gonna the way you
Activate
assign the
those.
die, and then there's the event or the ritual
tracks.
track at the top. So it just does all these different things and really interesting things that you can assign the dice to, and it's kind of fun. Like it's really fun when everybody's
kind of fun.
good at their role. Well, no, it's really good when everybody's good at their roles. But how hilarious was it when we played at Bob's house one time with Spencer? And I think Spencer was really bad at trying to hide what he was trying to do. Like it was it was just also hilarious and made for like great stories because it's like, come on, we all know.
Sure.
We all know. And it was still like a really good time. And I just, I enjoyed the game when it was like fun because it was like a real puzzle. And then it was fun when it's like, oh, we got him. Like he's doing so badly at this. But it still was kind of back and forth. We needed a few things to line up. You still needed like certain players to do certain things to like really make it happen. And for whatever reason, when I play this, all the dominoes seem to fall into place, or the stars seem to align, and unlocks a really fun gaming experience for me. So.
This is a great game. It didn't make my top 50, but it's a really good game, and I can't preface enough. I'm glad you brought it up. If you've played and like Bang the Dice game, please check out Cult of the Deep.
Yes.
A lot less people know of Cult of the Deep, I think, and it is a very similar game with some deeper mechanics going on. And like, if that sounds, again, I love Bang the Dice game. For a long time, it was my go-to party game. And I think that if sometimes you just want that with the cult tracks and stuff, you just want that slightly deeper thing going on that game offers, and it's really good.
And without making it like overly complex with like a rules,
Sure.
like with a
rules
crazy
overhead.
rules overhead, right?
Yeah.
It's still relatively easy to teach and learn, especially if they've already played Bang the Dice game.
Oh,
then,
for sure.
Then you've got like 5 minutes of teaching.
No, yeah, you just have to teach the cult track, the cultist tracks, I think,
Yeah.
basically.
Like, hey-
and obviously the new asymmetric stuff.
Look at your powers. Like everybody, look at your powers.
Reading the card explains the card.
Yeah. It's very straightforward, and yeah. Okay, sorry, Dan. What's your 49?
My 49 is new to the list, evidently. I'm pretty sure I played it last year, but it wasn't on my list. So, and that is Nidavellir. By GRRRE Games, I guess. I don't know what that's supposed to be.
Oh,
but I love this game. This game does another game that I think was hated on in our Discord recently, but this game does something that I just really like in games, which I think this is one of the best examples of a game that has an extremely deep gameplay process going on with the different strategy and stuff going into it. And yet it's one of the easiest games to teach. What you're doing is so basic, but then as you're playing, this is one of those games that always gets the moment where you're playing it and you're teaching someone, and like, 2 rounds into the game, the new player goes, oh,
Yeah.
like this is coming together. I'm understanding just from doing the basic thing, which is a very basic bidding process. Basically, you're just saying, okay, I'm gonna put this down. Oh, your number's higher. You go first, and then you're just tableau building. Like that's 80% of the game, and it does such a good job of having a really intriguing and in-depth play style with such an easy teach. I love teaching this game because it's just here's what you do. Okay. And then, like, next round, you just go, so are you getting it? And then they just go, yeah, I'm just wondering what this icon means. Okay. And sometimes you have to open up the book and go, that icon means this specifically, like get them the correct wording, right? And then that's it, and you move on. I just think it's a fantastic tableau building game. So, Nidavellir.
It's really good. I think the only reason I haven't bought this is just because I'm cheap.
Yep.
I mean, it's a little higher priced. I don't think I'm reasonably priced.
And it ups the price because it comes with that ridiculous but very helpful 3D coin holder.
Yes. Yes. Not unnecessary, because I agree with you. I think it's very helpful. It makes it very straightforward. You're not digging around. Like,
It comes with those plastic card holders
That's
too.
true.
To clear up the table a little bit.
I don't know that I've
I
ever
guess I
used them.
do use them. Yeah, no, I do, because you use them for the special buying cards. You don't use them for like your cards,
Yeah,
obviously,
true,
because they're
true,
laying
true.
down. But you're right. I forgot about that.
But yeah, Nidavellir is really good. I believe that designer just passed away recently. So R.I.P.
Serge Leggett, co-designer of Shadows of
Shadows
Camelot.
over Camelot. Yeah. Also an awesome game.
I'm glad you guys did that because I actually love mentioning the designers, and I actually don't have them on my list this year, mainly because I didn't want to have to reshape my entire Excel sheet to fit the designers' names in. So anytime you guys can name that, I'm glad. I love that information.
So who designed Heat Pedal to Metal? Because I don't remember.
The same designers as Flamme Rouge. They are Dutch designers.
So say their
I
names.
Don't.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Let's say 'em
That's why
backwards.
I struggle.
Well, I'll say real quick, Cult of the Deep was designed by Sam Stockton and
BA Games.
from BA Games. Okay, sorry.
My number 49, I got to play this earlier this year. It moved back a couple spots, which is pretty not bad, actually, considering all the new to me games that are in here. This is a worker placement game from Luke Laurie and Breaking Games, and it's Dwellings of Eldervale.
Nice.
I love all the things that this game manages to fit into one package. First, it's a beautiful package. It's my favorite box art of any game. I'm talking about the primary edition that has all the colors, not the crocodile version that's more like a grayscale. I typically like grayscale, but I like that box cover. I like the original box cover better because there's more color in the palette, and it pops. It's just got this sense of depth. Anyway, it's one of the few boxes I keep on top of the shelf just so I can look at the box cover.
It's beautiful.
But it's just this really good worker placement game where you've got 16 different variable player powers, combat focus to where you move to an area, you take the benefit of that action, but if you share that location with another player, you're going to do battle. And of course, the more troops you have there, the stronger your attack may be. I also was not sure if I was going to like this combat mechanic, and I absolutely love it. And it is the single highest number.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you roll 6 dice or 1. My 1/6 will beat your 5 5s.
That makes me think of like Lords of Vegas.
And that just really, yes, it just, there's stand-up moments when that happens, when you beat one of those beefy monsters, which incredible sculpts, by the way. The Legendary Edition has even washed monsters and everything. They all look awesome. And even the extraneous, the sound bases that do the roar when you set them down. It's all frivolous, but
I've never seen that.
It's an
Yeah.
awesome. That's the edition I have, and it's like gimmicks don't like that. Don't get me, but you know damn well when I get that game to the table, I'm making sure that monster makes a noise every time I move it, because why not? But Dwellings is awesome. I'm sure Andromeda's Edge is going to be an improvement, and we'll play that when Bob gets his copy. But Dwellings is great. It pretty much stayed put. It went from 45 to 49.
I have not been able to play this one.
Dan, I think you'd really like this one. Yeah.
yeah, it's like an efficiency puzzle.
Oh, really?
Just kidding.
But is there a volcano?
No.
Okay, I'm in.
It's got like 37 different tracks though. You've got to move.
Yeah.
I don't move up this one. And
Somewhere
I'm gonna-
Jason was like, "What?
Yeah, too many colors.
Too many colors, though. A lot of tracks.
Well, there's a
Too many
grayscale
colors.
version.
For Bob.
Indeed.
Rude.
A bit.
All right.
All right.
Let's go to 48. 48.
40.
So my 48. I can't remember who the designer is. Brass Birmingham.
Oh.
I did that.
I want to say it's a friend.
Yeah.
It's a
Friend of the show.
This is sad.
Yeah.
Is he English or is he Australian? I can't
A little bit of
remember.
both.
A little both.
Yeah.
Wharton.
Mollis.
Mollis.
Yes.
Mollis.
Yeah.
Martin
Wharton Mollis.
Also not a friend of the show.
Not anymore.
Used to be a friend of the show.
Former friend of the show. Martin Wallace did Brass Birmingham. It was the #1 game for a while. Is it still #1 right now?
Still number 1.
Look at
Look
that.
at
Yeah.
To quote
It's
Martin,
great.
take
It's a
that,
good
Isaac.
game.
That's right. That's hilarious.
It is not one I want to play all the time. It's
Yeah.
it's
That's
it's,
why I
a,
got
it's a
40.
good
It's
game.
one I'd like to play at least one time. I
yeah?
haven't played it yet.
I think
Yeah.
I think that's why I just missed my 50.
You haven't played it
it's a-
recently?
No, I've only played that one time at my house with
Okay.
Patrick and Jason.
I only played one other time with Bob, I believe. I played that time, and then I played before that with Bob. I don't think we played Lincolnshire. I think we
No,
played
it was
Birmingham.
yeah,
but-
'cause we had the beer.
Okay.
Yep.
One play was not enough for me to put it in my top 50. There's just, I understand why people say simple rules, depth, and strategy very much holds true in this game.
Yep.
I need to play more to figure out how to optimize how to play.
Yep.
it's
Industrial Revolution.
It's kind of funny because I have 2 Martin Wallace games on my top 50, and
They're not that one.
no, it's not just that they're not that one. It's not even that they're just not ones that like everybody else likes. Like
Right.
they go Martin Wallace, they go Brass Birmingham, they go like A.G.
Right.
Steve, they go like all these other ones.
We know what they are.
Yeah,
But
that's fine.
I do instantly.
I know what they are.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah.
Gonna be a couple weeks on those.
Whoa!
Got me.
Brass Birmingham's great though.
Good
Yeah.
pick. I want to play it.
I really want to play Lancashire
We'll
now.
play it.
Okay, so my number 48, I thought was new, but it's not new to this list. But it was ranked 37 last year. That's a lot.
So you
of
hate it
It's a
now.
lot.
games
Ooh, I know what it is.
Games.
that it's moved
I
down.
love this cheat sheet.
It is now 48. This is a 1v many hidden movement game. Treasure Island.
Oh,
I just think Treasure Island is
don't
so
play
much
that one
fun.
enough.
I
I
know.
know, I wanna
It's
play
very
it more.
unique.
I gotta
Yeah.
play this
This
so
game is
bad.
so-
It could be higher if I played it more, but literally, I don't think I even ranked it on BGG for some reason. I just forget to do that, and so it wouldn't have even been in my list. I forgot about it.
This game is so much fun because somebody is playing as like Blackbeard. They buried the treasure somewhere on the island, and everybody else is asking him for clues. Like he's putting out
It's
clues.
Long John Silver.
Long John Silver, not Blackbeard.
I was
Let's
like,
get our
what are we
pirate
talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just making it up. Somebody's Long John
Pirates of the
Silver.
Caribbean?
They're
Thanks.
locked in a tower, and everybody else is like getting clues from him as far as where the treasure's buried. And so you're using like rulers, you know what I mean, and compasses to try to figure out. And like, well, I'm gonna
Like
move.
literally on the board,
On the map.
Drawing circles with
with
the compass.
with
Yeah.
instruments.
Yes. And then so you're trying to dig to see if you can find it, and then if you take too long, not Blackbeard, Long John Silver breaks out of the tower and then has to get to his treasure before somebody finds it. And even it doesn't even mean that they necessarily are going to make like a beeline directly for it. They
Right,
can
throw you off a
They
little
can
bit.
like
Zigzag.
zigzag around. Depends on how hot they think you're on the trail. This is a game that I got because one time I had a bunch of store credit and we were walking around the store and Dan's like, "Oh, I heard really good things about this game." I was like, "Let's
Whoops.
try it." Turns out I bought the expansion first, but then I asked the Mark, the owner of the game store. I'm like, "Hey man, can you order in me a base copy of this game so I can buy it and actually play it?" And we played it and thought it was great. Really like it. It's Matago Games. I don't know who designed it, but I do know who published it. I love Treasure Island. This probably would have been higher on the list had we played it a little bit more in the last year.
That's how it goes.
But the production value, the artwork, it's beautiful.
Those are some of the best markers that come in a
Yeah.
freaking game
Yeah.
ever. That
Probably the
and
second or
Twilight
third best.
Inscription
Yeah.
are like the
Yeah, those are the
best
best.
markers.
and we just have had a really good time every time we played it.
You know, it's funny is you're talking about when the Googs was on and you were talking about the best orange component. I was thinking about those orange markers from Twilight Inscription.
yeah.
It's a great orange
Those-
component.
they're
That-
really
yeah, that would have been on my list.
really
Yeah.
good.
My only problem with the game, and it's not the game's fault at all, it's just that I've only played it twice, I think. And I don't know how to solve the puzzle of when is Long John lying or not. I don't know how to
Oh,
solve
right,
that puzzle.
right.
Like,
You just gotta read Tim's
Because he
face.
can just choose when he gives you hints to lie sometimes.
Yeah.
And that can completely throw you out if
Well,
you can't figure out
and
that
it's not
game.
even that it's a lie. It's like this
It
could
might
be a
be a
lie,
lie,
which
right.
I like
Yeah.
even better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's-
Maybe.
Yeah, it's I haven't figured it out yet, and it makes me not understand the puzzle fully. But it's really fun.
Thank God there's no volcanoes, because Dan would be like,
Well-
"Ow!" All right, Dan, what do you got for 48?
My number 48 is also new to the list. Spoiler alert, all my new games are directly in a row. So I'm going to go over them in a row here. But another one that I feel like is surprised is new to the list, but I must have not played it in time last year. I don't know. But that is Planet Unknown by Adam's Apple Games. I love this game. This is such a good game. The turns taking place simultaneously cuts down on what could be an insanely long game and really fits it in a nice package. The components are fantastic. Yes, I've only played with the upgraded Lazy Susan or whatever, which is how the game should be played.
It's becoming more available now.
Yes, but it is becoming more available. I love spatial games, and the spatial puzzle you're doing on your own asymmetric player board is fantastic. The tracks are all interesting and useful, and you can really specialize. Like, I really like games when you have asymmetric stuff and then can specialize to help buff your asymmetric stuff. I think that is a fantastic system that this game has. And also the theme is just awesome and kind of hilarious, that their idea of terraforming is just dropping stuff onto a planet and like, sorry, if there's already something there, we're gonna crush it and destroy it. I think that's really funny. And this game is really good. And unfortunately, while that is becoming more available, the game itself is hit or miss on its availability. It's like, oh, now you can get it, and now it's
expansion
impossible.
Supermoon should be filling shortly, and there'll be extra copies of the game coming to the available.
And I don't know anything about the expansion, so we'll see how
I
that
backed
goes.
the reprint, so I had to have it.
Yeah, I got the expansion, and they offered a lid to go over the Lazy Susan so the pieces don't fall
Finally,
out. So
yes. So you can store that box horizontally or vertically. Excuse me.
Yeah, it's a spatial game in space.
Dan, where did you say you had that last year?
It says new.
I had it at number 40 for you last year.
Okay, that's why I said it would blow my mind if it was new, because my paperwork said it was new. But
I had it at number 40 for you last
I'm
year.
very glad to know that, because I was like, how would this not have
Right.
been on my list last year? I must not have played it in time. So anyway, it must have been 40 last year. Thank you,
Dropped
Mike.
a little bit.
Yeah, whatever. I haven't played it that much. It's hard to play. It is one of the games that I'd be interested in playing on Board Game Arena, because it is hard for me to get to the table.
Sure.
But fantastic game. Thank you if that's correct.
Plays pretty good on there.
It's great. It's really good on BGA. It's one of my favorite implementations on there. I kept bugging Bob to play it every time we had to meet up for like the longest time, and then they said they was going to reprint. I'm like, okay, done deal. Give me that expansion too. I love this game. You got to wait a couple weeks for me on that one. It moved up.
I need to play this
even.
game, because the first time I played it, I was like, this is fine. And then I played it again, and I'm like, I don't like this. And then I played it again digitally, and I'm like, I really don't like this. And I think I don't like playing tactile games in the digital version.
Okay.
Because it's
You
much
take the
easier.
piece
It's
and
much easier
fiddle.
for my brain to like physically manipulate the pieces. Sure. But it didn't like help. Now I would not say like, oh, this is a bad game or anything like that. I think everybody totally like, I get why people love it, but it just was not clicking with me the same way.
Right.
But it does a lot of things I like. It's one of those games that kind of confuses me, because it's like, I should love this game. Like,
I think it's all the variability and all the different planets you can play, all the different styles of tracks you can play. It makes every game really feel different. You got to get past those starter boards and get to the variable boards before I think that game really starts to shine.
I also just think my bias comes into it, as the entire point of these lists are, right? That it just does a couple things that I love. I mean, the two smaller ones are simultaneous play and the objectives in between players, or like neighbor play. I love those things in games. And then the third one, which is the biggest one, is again, I just have an unhealthy obsession with spatial games. When there's a spatial element to games, it makes me like games that I normally wouldn't like. I really like Garinto, even though it's an abstract strategy game. I really like Watergate, even though it's a two-player game. These things that I usually don't like, having a spatial element elevates them for me. And I think that this one just has a really, really good spatial element with the, what's the crazy word? Tetraomino, whatever that word is.
Polyomino?
Polyomino, is that all it is? I thought there was a T one too, but polyomino games that do that. And so I think that is why it lifts it up so much for me personally.
That's totally fair. Totally fair.
It's the
Play this game a
variability
lot.
for sure. I like the combos you can get on the tracks, when like this track allows you to move up that track, and then now I'm placing this was give me another track. I like the combos you get on those. My number 48 moved back a bit because I didn't play it this year, and there's a few other engine building games I find that I prefer over It's a Wonderful World. I had this at 29 last year, and it moved back quite a bit. Unfortunately, it's not that good at the lower player counts, and that's why they made It's a Wonderful Kingdom and it's a solely two-player experience. So it's good that they recognized kind of, I guess, a weak point in the original game. But if you have the expansion and you can play with 5, 6, 7 people, It's a Wonderful World is a fantastic engine building, card-based drafting game where We're just kind of putting resources on cards until you build those cards, and then those built cards are going to produce more resources during the income phases, and you're just constantly building more cards and drafting cards to build. And it's just very satisfying each round with all the increased income that you get.
Yeah, satisfying and fulfilling are like just the two words, because it's a game where every card you create or whatever, every piece you put into the engine enters your production. Everything enters your production line. So as long as there's any production on the card you're building, all you're doing by producing things is creating a better production line. It's such a fulfilling and
the 4 words I would use to describe it is higher on my list.
Oh, okay.
It moved back, I think, again, just because I haven't played it a little while.
Yeah, that's fair.
Been playing it on BGA. It's fine on BGA. It's not one of my favorites.
Drafting can be tough. It takes a while.
Drafting can be tough. It takes a while to get all the cards drafted. But yeah, it's a fantastic game regardless. Highly recommend the expansion that allows it to support 7. Supports 5 natively. It was one of those, the first time I played it, I wanted to immediately play it again. It's one of those.
Yeah, same. Absolutely loved it. Couldn't believe I hadn't even played this game. Because it had been out for a minute when we played it, and it just blew me away.
All right, so number
47.
47.
So this is the first game on my list to drop 30 or more spaces.
Wow.
I do still like this game. Played a little bit BGA.
It's in your top 50 games.
I know, but it used to be 17.
Sure.
And it is not now.
That's good. So now it's legal.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Please just continue. But
the Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Yes!
Yeah.
No!
Justified!
No! Don't tell Dan this!
Well, I could tell Dan that the other one's not even on there at all.
Totally.
Whoa!
This is sad days.
Sad day for
That is
Dan.
a shocker.
Just because Bob sucks at it.
I haven't figured out how
I
to do
still
these
gotta
top
play with
lists.
expedition leaders.
Well, and maybe with that it'll help because I've played a lot, maybe the Cult of News kind of rubbing off on it a little bit, and it's not much of a deck builder like we were talking about before. How it's I went the whole game and didn't buy a single card.
Yeah, you can win without buying a single card.
In
Right.
Dune Imperium, you can win a whole game without
Lost
No,
Ruins of
Lost
Arnak.
Ruins.
Oh,
Yeah,
Where were you?
well, I thought you were talking about the one you didn't like. That's not on.
No,
your
we're
list.
talking
No,
about the
no.
one that's on his list
one
because
that's
that's
on
the
my
point of
list.
the show.
That's
Correct,
crazy.
yeah.
Well, no, but he was referencing the one that wasn't on his list, and I thought it wasn't on his list because it wasn't really a deck
just to
builder.
take Dan down a peg.
We just automatically have to talk about the other if we
Yeah.
just
Yeah, they're so tied together.
start the
Yeah.
debate.
Man, okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's moved on quite a bit.
I
I've only
love the
played
game.
Arnak like once.
Yeah, I say I really
You're
enjoyed it.
good.
I did. 'Cause there's 2 expansions now, isn't there? 2 expansions
Yes.
now. Yeah.
One's a cooperative campaign expansion.
And I would like to try that. I did play the leaders once, and they're interesting. They do add more stuff to that. It's not a bad expansion, but I don't know. I guess it just kind of lost some of its shine.
We need to play it again. It's one of my favorite games, and it's been a while since I've played it. We need to add the expedition leaders.
My problem
Yeah.
is now that if I play with you guys, you are so familiar with the game that I will not even stand a chance.
I actually don't think that's the case in Arnak, personally.
Have you played any games with me, Tim?
I
I
know.
lose most games,
Well,
even when
it's
I'm
true.
experienced
I'm trying
at
to
them.
include you as well. So
Yeah.
we're not, singling
All right,
one
well, thank
person
you.
out.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I appreciate that.
Oh, hi.
We're all very
But
excellent
it's
gamers.
resource management, so you're good at that.
I don't think the learning curve is that extreme in Arnak as long as you tell people do not ignore the research track.
Sure.
Yeah, keep up with the BSS
Yeah, keep
Beagle.
up with the Beagle. That
Well done.
frickin' boat.
Yes.
Holy
But yeah,
crap.
We
I
made a
think so.
joke about that Friday night.
Yeah.
We were playing a game. We were like, now remember, don't ignore a very important part
of the game.
this
Yes.
game.
Still a good game. I still play. We still play on BGA here and there. But
Love it.
it is definitely dropped out of favor. a
How
little bit.
dare it
I just
only
need to-
make
I-
your 40.
Won't be
Seven
on
or
my
eight, whatever.
list.
Ugh, it's not on my list either. But
I don't
I-
hate this game. It's become a funny joke that I hate this game. It's a good
joke.
game.
Yeah,
I
this
just,
doesn't
true.
actually hit
yeah,
this game.
I just, it's not as good as its brother.
but
And
it
they're-
is fun.
And they're
so that
like
drops it
way
down.
different games. They're just always going to be lumped together.
They are.
Yeah,
they are.
Unfortunately or fortunately.
All right, my 47 is a game that I absolutely love. New to this list. Haven't played it in a minute, but I do always kind of want to play this game, and that is Cartographers.
Ooh.
I really like Cartographers quite a bit. We have talked about before, like during COVID, during the lockdown and everything, Bob and I would play this with other people, like via Zoom. Like everybody's got their maps, somebody's just flipping the cards.
Right.
And then
You can, like, take a picture of your map, send it to somebody, they block something out for the monster, and
Yeah.
send it back to you, and you're like, "Aw."
yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it was doable, you
was
know,
doable.
like, but this game's really fun. It's like it's a flip and right.
Flipping A.
I don't love roll and rights, or generally, but this kind of lumped into that same category, and I really like this game. I just think it's really fun. I like the just like the different terrains, and then you're trying to build up, and
Sure.
then the different maps have like the different like obstacles, right, that you're kind of having to build around and stuff. And I just think it's really fun. The monsters are fun, because then you got to pass it to the right or the left, to like for somebody then to like
Right.
screw your stuff up. And I think it's great. It's in the role player universe. I like role player quite a bit. I might talk about that later. I don't remember. I'll have to look ahead. But anyways, Cartographers, really good, super fun, worth checking out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like roll and rights. It's a good game though.
I finally got to play this one this year. I really enjoyed it. We'll talk more about it Wednesday.
Oh, sweet.
Wow.
I was like, wait, what? Okay.
Yeah, I get it now.
My number 47 is evidently new to the list. Mike.
We'll find out.
I'll let you know.
And actually, really funny before I go into it, this one was actually when I first did the Pub Meeple thing, this was in like my top 20 or 15.
Wow.
And I just kept dropping it. Like,
Yeah,
I was
no.
just like, and I think that goes to show you that while I don't know if I think the game is that good, that's how much I've been wanting to play it again, right? Because when in Pub Meeple again, that's what I was talking about. You click on it because you're like, oh, I want to play that. Oh, I want to play that. And I think this game's up there. I talk about it pretty often, actually, even though I haven't played it that many times. That's Korra, Rise of an Empire.
Nice.
I
Bob-
want to
good one.
play this game.
Yeah,
It's
Bob
really good.
showed us this one, and I like Civ games. They just tend to be a bit overwhelming, a little too long. I can't always play a 3-hour Civ game, no matter how good it is. And the fact that Korra gives you that same feeling, you're still building up this civilization and researching technology and doing all these things, but you're doing it in this little, 45-minute, hour or whatever, like tableau package instead. I just think it does a really good job at that. I really do like the asymmetric stuff that's in it. I don't think it's the strongest asymmetric stuff out there, but you do feel
dabble it.
different.
Yeah.
You do feel different. Again, they're trying to cram that into this smaller game, and I think they do a pretty good job with that. And I don't know, they literally just name something you'd have to have in a civilization game with an economic system and with
Military.
having to keep your people happy, all these kind of things, and it's all in this game, but it's just kind of abstracted slightly to make it easier to play and teach, and I think it does a fantastic job. So check out Korra if you ever have a
Elio
chance.
games, right?
Oh yeah, Yellow. Yeah,
Hurts me every time.
he can't not do that.
Hurts me every time.
No, it's a really good game, and you can also find it relatively cheap
Yeah.
online. This game
Yep.
goes on sale all the time. It's a steal. It's a great game.
Yeah, I've
Worth
almost
it.
bought it like 3 different times.
Good pick. Okay, my number 47. The old version was on my list last year at 48, and the newer version popped on this list at 47, and that's the Crew Mission Deep Sea. This is my favorite trick-taking game, and it's because it makes trick-taking cooperative, where you're saying, okay, we all win if the commander wins the trick that has the yellow 6 in it. So everybody at the table is working together to make sure that the commander, the person with the highest card, the high trump card, wins that trick with the yellow 6. So everything you are doing, nothing else matters except that one person wins that trick. And the mental gymnastics of, okay, I got to get Tim, okay, I got to make sure that he's got a higher yellow in his deck. Well, maybe he already played his high yellow. Shoot, okay, let's run him out of yellows, and then let's see if we can get him to trump. I just love the thoughts
The
going
gymnastics
on.
you're doing, yeah.
Yeah, the stuff that you're doing and thinking about with your team to win each round just feels really good when you pull it off. And not to mention, there's a ton of tension in this game because there are so many tricks that you don't win until the last card.
And it's
you
limited
see that yellow
communication,
6
too.
come out and you're like, oh God, hopefully the commander still has his trump, you know? You're just hoping, like, and then he trumps it. Yes, woohoo! All right, on to the next scenario. Now we got to win 2 2 cards.
Right.
Right.
Then there's 3 missions. Then there's 4 missions. Then there's some where you decide, okay, I don't want you to win a trick the entire game. That's how we're going to win.
I took that personally.
Yeah.
That
That one I like.
all the different things that they add as you go through that logbook just add to the replayability. I love the tension. I like that there's limited communication. You have to put a card on the table and say, hey, this is the only one I have of this color, or it's the highest of this color, or the lowest of this color. The limited information, the
Yeah.
cooperative nature really makes this game sing. It is by far my favorite trick-taking game.
So I will say I went from not liking this game at all to actually kind of liking it. Like, I wouldn't say I love it or anything, but I would definitely, to be fair, I was always like, I'll play it again. I need to play it again. Like, the circumstances the first time I played it were not ideal. So I try not like hold it to, to that initial judgment too closely. Right. But we played it at that small convention,
Yeah.
and we played a bunch of rounds. The only thing that I still have a problem with in this game is that there was at least one time where we came up where there was an impossible situation. And
Yeah.
you're
It
just like,
can
well,
happen.
we got through like 4 missions, and it's like, here's an impossible one. Awesome. Well, all that work is
Yeah. I
shot.
mean, they're only ever impossible depending on how the cards are dealt.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, so Mike
It's-
didn't cheat, or if he dealt from the bottom
Right.
versus the top.
Yeah.
It's not that common, though. It's a very
It's usually
seldom
almost
that
always
happens.
feasible somehow.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure,
exactly.
Sure. But we
But
did.
with the limited communication makes it super
But
hard.
we did come up with like one scenario where it was literally impossible. Because then we were like, because I think I had said, I don't think we can do this. And then we kind of just looked at everything and we're like, oh no, we
yeah.
can't do this one. Not a fatal flaw or anything like
Save
that.
yourself 7 minutes.
But
That's about how long it would take to
It
play
can
that out.
happen. I often like how sometimes you look and go, I don't know if we can do that. Wait, no,
Sure.
there is a way, and that's what makes this one
but
good.
think
I
this is
did
the
like
way.
it. I did like it a lot more. And I would definitely not go around going, I didn't like that game. Like now it's like, oh yeah, that was pretty good.
I knew you had to replay.
So yeah, I felt the same way.
I have never played it. I hate trick-taking games,
Yeah,
but
so we should get Dan to play.
I was gonna ask. Well, first of all, co-op is very intriguing to me, and second of all, I was gonna ask. Like that's why I pointed when you said it. Because the way you're describing, I was thinking there must be limited communication then in the game
Yes.
because of what you're talking about. That makes perfect sense. Then it's very intriguing to me. Just never played.
Sure. All right, let's pause everything. Let's play around real quick.
It's fast enough. We'll
Dan'll
try
be like, this
sometimes.
sucks.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
1 second.
exactly. Didn't make it in my top 50. Okay.
Spoiler.
All right.
right.
So number 46. All right. So number 46. This is the game that has dropped the furthest. 37 spaces it dropped. Yeah. So from number 9 all the way down to 46, History of the World.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's a Civilization game. I really enjoyed playing this game, but it's probably been 3 or 4 years since I've gotten to play. It does take a really long time to play. There's a lot of time in between turns, and I've played other Civilization games now that I've like kind of bumped that one out of the.
I would like
Civ
to play this again,
itch.
but like at 4 players maybe. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, 'cause
Yeah.
I think one time we played it like 5 or 6 players.
Yeah, we
and
played
it,
max player count. and it took a long time.
And it took too long. I thought it was really good, had a lot of
Mm-hmm.
potential and everything, but it did feel like it was taking too long.
Right, you got like mini games because there's other thing is it's not only does it take a long time to play the game, but it can be 20 minutes before you take another turn.
I literally, when I learned this game, was playing another game.
Yeah,
you
on
know,
a side
might have been
table.
like Clank or
Yeah, I think it
something.
was.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
just like, okay, no.
Right.
Let me
So-
know when it's my turn.
Yeah. And it's just
yeah.
there's literally
Man,
nothing for you to do.
I hate that
if they're not
stuff.
attacking
But at
your
the same
area.
time, if you play like a Civilization video game, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, you
Yep.
take your turn and then you just wait until you're allowed to do anything.
Wait until the people
again.
who are playing
So-
better than you.
So I
get
guess,
to
yeah.
play.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, like oh, I have like 80 units to move. Hold on, and you're like, okay, well my 2 are done.
Yeah.
Thanks.
yeah.
Let me know when you destroy me.
Yep.
Retreat.
Same team. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's a good game. I would recommend
played it.
finding the old Avalon Hill version, right?
That art is
versus,
so much better than the new one. The new
versus
one
the
is
new one?
ugly. Yeah.
yeah. Is this?
Same gameplay though.
I didn't see anything
Oh,
different
okay.
about gameplay, and I haven't actually played the new version.
I just wonder, is
I
this
saw it.
one?
And I was like, ugh.
if there'd be like things you would cobble together, you know what I mean? Like you could take some bits from this one and put them in this one.
I even like from like everything that I didn't look like side by side comparison, but I saw people playing it, and everything that I put on the table from my version, I liked better than all the things I saw on the table of other people playing.
Gotcha.
I wasn't like, oh man, I wish my piece had that. My version had that copy. Now, all the older stuff is nicer.
Okay, cool. So my number 46 is new to this list. It would have been on my list last year, but it wasn't out yet. And I'm not that big of a hipster. I feel like the game people should have access to the game.
So what you're saying though is you did play it before it was out.
I did play it before it was out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Got to play it before it was out. Got
Go
to
on
play a
about-
ginormous version of it, which in no way colored my experience. It totally colored my experience.
Okay.
This version of the game was amazing, but we have since played the regular version that you can buy,
In the store.
And there's one big box store in particular that is like promoting it, which
Oh,
is
wow.
really cool.
Okay.
But that is Mission Control Critical Orbit. From Third World Studios.
Nice.
Donnie and Corey, love those guys. Love Third World Studios. And this game is so much fun. Talk about not really liking roll and writes. I mean, literally, it is a roll and write, but it's cooperative. It's completely asymmetrical. The hardest player to the position to play is the Ethernaut, right?
Yes.
They've got the most to do. But all of the other puzzles I find are very interesting. There are challenge cards that you can add to the game to make it harder if you need that. I believe they're going to come out with some more expansion stuff for it, maybe some new cities, new puzzles, things like that, probably different challenges. I don't really know everything or all the details, but this game is totally worthy of being in my top 50. I was really, really excited when it naturally occurred in my top 50 just via Pub Meeple. I wasn't sure, but I was kind of like pulling for it. This game's awesome. It looks great. It's super fun to play. They do have in the rule book, I believe, a QR code you can scan so you can print off the giant versions.
Yep.
If you want to do that.
Do that.
It's almost worth it.
Yeah.
Like,
It's definitely worth it. I haven't done it yet,
But playing on the giant-
version,
Playing on the giant version is
the
pretty
problem
cool.
is you then also have to buy easels.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the problem. But-
Probably.
because everybody's standing up and marking their things on the big boards while the Ethernaut is sitting at a tiny little table
Right.
working
Underneath all these easels.
Yeah.
I love
all
it
this
because
stuff.
it's the shape
Yeah.
of like a space,
like a
escape
capsule.
pod kind
Yeah,
of thing. Yeah,
escape
like a
pod.
capsule.
But this game it's tense, it's timed. You've got 20 minutes. It's ruthless.
Liking those timed games.
And it's super fun. I just really enjoy the challenge. And there's something to, like, again, right? When we're playing and you're like, Houston is locked. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's mission control locked.
Cologne is locked.
Yeah. You're just, everybody's,
It's my favorite.
it's so good. It's so good.
so
It's so
fun.
much fun. It kind of forces everybody in. And the theme is so good. And it's like, it's just so tense. I love it.
I genuinely think, because I was just talking about it, I wish that if they like remade XCOM, it had more of instead of the real time being your turn, then your turn, then your turn, which is fun. Again, it's in my top 50 games. That system just makes games so fun. Having it be like squad leader locked,
Yeah.
commander locked.
Right.
Okay,
like everybody has their own deck of cards,
XCOM
and as soon as you're
locked.
ready, like you flip it over, you deal with your crisis, whatever. Like, okay, I'm locked, ready to go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just like having that to where everyone locks in individually, but you can't move on until XCOM is
Everybody's,
locked.
XCOM locked.
That is such a good,
Yeah.
engaging co-op system. I
Right.
love it.
Yeah, the game.
Not that I'll wind up talking about this game at some point.
No, probably not. I'm the only one in the group that really loves this game. It's pretty freaking
Barely
fantastic. Though.
missed my top 50.
I guess we'll
Okay.
talk about it next Wednesday.
It's going to be a few weeks.
Oh, okay. But anyways, Dan.
Me.
46.
46 is I'm interested in if Mike disagrees with this one because he did not love it. But I only played it 1.5 times, and I love difficult co-ops. I love great components, and I like the sci-fi theme, and that is Burn Cycle by Chip Theory Games.
Ooh,
I
nice.
loved this experience. Again, I don't think it's like the greatest game of all time. Yeah, I get the joke. But I'm just saying, like, I need to play it more to really get the strategy of what's going on there and to really play more the scenarios and stuff that are in it. But I think that what they did with this theme is just fantastic. Talk about like the best, like, I don't know if cyberpunk is the right term, right? But like that type of idea here where you're like going in with the hacking and the robot drones and everything. It's a really cool game. The components having
Well, it's chip
Over the
theory.
top.
I was gonna say
Chip
it's
theory,
ridiculous.
the
The
components
components
are
here.
incredible.
You're overlaying play mats to build 3D freaking
maps
boards
and
and,
stuff, yeah.
stuff. It's insane. Like, okay, you have your player board mat that is a very high quality play mat. Now on top of that, play your character play mat, which is a very high quality play mat. And then on top of that, don't forget your character ability play mat that lays on top of that. You just have multiple layers of play mats
With nice thick chips too. Yeah.
it's ridiculous, but it really does make a really fun game. That system with the I don't know what it's called.
It's
Do you
like
remember what it's
the
called?
internet
burn
access
cycle.
thing. Where
Is it
you're-
literally called the burn cycle? Thank you.
Oh yeah, where everything's degrading.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, and and if you match it, your action is
Is improved,
enhanced.
yeah.
Such a fun system. I love that system so much. So yeah, burn cycle. I want to play it more, but it's a beast. It takes a while to play. It takes a while to set up. There's a lot
There's a lot
going
to
on,
it.
but
I love the like the network that you hack in and you're moving your little
the
ping
network
around.
is its own
you know,
thing.
Yeah. and
Again,
you're
I
like,
tend to like mini games in games, right? And that feels like this like whole separate thing you're doing. Where
Right.
you're doing all this stuff like physically, you know, all
in
this
the real
hardware
world,
stuff over
yeah.
here. But then you have a software board you're working on too, where you're literally moving
Hacking
through
in
nodes.
and
You know,
yeah.
it's really good. It's like a Jurassic Park, right? Where you're just
Yeah,
typing
but
and
should
going
you?
through all those nodes. Yeah. But Burn Cycle is a really good game, and
Nice.
if you ever have a chance to try it, I do highly recommend checking
So
it out.
before you log on, are you like hold on to your butts?
Yeah,
you got,
I
like,
do.
a cigarette hanging out of your
And then
mouth?
my arm falls on Laura Dern's shoulder.
Yeah, it's really weird, but kind of cool. You got to meet Laura Dern.
Exactly. Well, my arm did.
Clever girl. All right, Mike.
I think Burn Cycle's good. I don't think it is the experience I want given the time it takes to play, the learning curve, and the amount of setup involved. I would want a more epic experience
It is
for
a
that
steep
time
learning
frame.
curve.
It is.
Yeah, it is. But it's a good game. So number 46. I brought a little gift over here, right here. It's Maker's Mark number 46. And the reason I did that is because about a year ago, Tim and I started doing a live stream. We call it Whiskey Wednesday. And we've been doing that for about a year now. It's really picked up.
Cross promotion.
We're doing a little cross promotion today because in our studio, we're doing a top 50. If you're interested to hear Tim and I's top 100, we will be doing that on our live stream every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Maker's Mark 46 sponsor. Just
Beverage
kidding.
is optional.
Not,
Oh yeah,
not
but we
really.
are open to Maker's Mark sponsorships.
Yes, we are open to those ideas. So we have a stream called Whiskey Wednesday. So top 100 to number 51, you can hear it on there. So
I thought you were
speaking,
going to the top 101.
well, that was the other spoiler is that we're
sorry.
going to do up to 101 because I also have Maker's Mark 101 here. So we're starting that this Wednesday. It'll actually be out way before this video will
Yeah,
be.
it
So
will be, 'cause it'll be live.
yeah, it's
We'll do
live.
live.
Yep. All right. So my number 46 also has to do with you guys. It was the first big game I ever played with you guys. That was Lords of Hellas. This is the first time I ever went to Spencer's house. First game I ever played with this group. It moved down. It was 32 because that's the only time I've played it. But I went and backed Lords of Ragnarok right after
Based
we
on
played
that.
it that night, based on that one play. It looks epic. It feels epic. You got your toes dipped into multiple different winning conditions at once, and one guy's trying to fight these monsters. Meanwhile, you're trying to control all these territories. Another person's trying to build a monument, and it just feels really good. Like it's just this epic dudes on a map experience that you would want out. It's everything you would want out of an epic dudes on a map game, I think. I hope Lords of Ragnarok lives up to the original. I've heard some bad reviews on it. I hope they're
Which is
wrong.
why we haven't gotten it to the table yet, right?
I hope they're
Yeah.
wrong,
Yeah.
because I did put a lot of money into that Kickstarter.
I haven't heard that yet. Okay.
But we really got to get it out. We got to get it played and reviewed. But Lords of Hellas is excellent, and I'm probably not the only one that'll talk about it.
Well, it's actually funny. Lords of Hellas is also separately how I met Tim.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's a whole years before.
That game's ruining lives for years.
I know. And while I won't say where it is now, partly because I don't remember, it was in my top 10 for many years. I think Lords of Hellas is a fantastic game.
Yeah, you had it at number 7 last year.
Yeah, it's really good. I'll be talking about it.
Number 45.
5,
45.
40.
45.
45.
That's me. 45 is one of the first bag builders I ever played. Made me fall in love with the bag building mechanic. I am able to get this to the table quite a bit because it is sort of an entry level type of game also. But Orleans. Yeah, the deluxe version is fantastic. Like you're building your bag, you're putting all these different colored workers in there, you're pulling them out, you're assigning them to your board to do all these other actions, and you're manipulating these other boards that are out on the table, and then all those workers are going back in your bag, and then you can call those workers out by sending them to like another board that's on the table, and it's just. I don't know. It made me fall in love with bag builders. Like, it was one of the first games I played that was one of the major mechanics in there, and I love it. You know, you got wizards, and you got knights, and you got monks. It's a good time.
I went out and got this game just from our experience when we played it on Board Game Roulette.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoyed this game quite a bit. I need to buy I always forget what expansion is the good one to get.
Right.
Because there's two of them, and I've heard one is
Intrigue, and
the good one.
I think so. Yes.
That's
And
a
then the
strong
Invasions
vote of
as well.
confidence.
I know. Well, that's the thing is, I've played mostly just base games.
He
I don't
said
even have-
yes.
Trade and Intrigue.
Trade and Intrigue is
I was
the
pretty
one.
sure that was the requirement.
Invasion is like the co-op for.
Okay, okay.
And then there's like an Orleans Stories or something like that
Yeah.
that I haven't played, but I haven't heard good things.
Just
about.
remember, whichever you're looking for the expansion that
That's it.
intrigues you.
Yeah.
No.
That's
I was
intriguing.
thinking of the is it the Joan of Arc, where they fix
The broken hand, yes.
Yeah, Joan of Arc
got that
drawing
buzz
right.
in.
So yeah, Reiner Stockhausen decided to make a roll and write version of it, and it really feels just like a quicker, easier to table Orleans.
It does.
Yeah, it was
pretty good.
But you don't have the bag building, which is what I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, boom.
Yeah.
It's good for it's good for what it is.
It's fine.
yeah.
All right, my number 45, which is strange enough my year. What a weird crossover. I'm 45. You old boy. So close to dying.
So old, dude.
Hi, Bob. Love you, buddy.
Yep.
Okay, so my number 45, it's new to this list, and it is the newest game on my list. I've gotten to play this a few times. I really love it. I think the components are pretty dang good, even if some of them are really bad. And that is Last Light. Last Light creeped up onto my top 50.
Okay.
I just really like it. It plays very.
good.
It is as advertised, right? It's a 4X that plays very fast, easy to learn. We played it with higher player count, and
Didn't really increase the time.
And it did not really increase the time. Now I could see this game being like it was like an hour to play, maybe like an hour 20 with like the setup and the teardown, like when we were learning it. But like
40 minutes, maybe.
once everybody knows how to play, it's going to be like 40, 45 minutes. It really is. And then again,
It'll hum.
And the teardown is going to go fast too, because we were still kind of like, oh, I think this goes over here. This might go over here.
Right.
After you play a game a few
know where
times,
things go.
you really get a good idea of how you want to sort it out too, and to make that teardown and setup a lot easier. But I just really like this game. I was really hyped for it, and then I got worried about it, and then we had sort of that negative experience, and then it's like it all came around, and it was really good. So just a big fan of this game. That is Gray Fox Games, Roy Canaday. Like, well done. Congratulations on your design, Gray Fox. Congratulations on having
Another banger.
a hit game there. I do wonder, this is just like shop talk, I wonder how much like money that game actually made, because that had to cost a lot to produce.
Oh yeah, what was the
Now I know it did like
Spread
well on
there.
GameFound, but like still like doing well, what appears to be doing well is not always like
right.
make money. Because I know personally of games that have made like $500,000 and they still lost
Money.
money
through
on
all
that
the production
because
and
of the
everything
production
else.
value
Yeah.
and then like shipping costs and all that stuff.
Sure, promotionals.
But anyways, Last Light, really good. I think that you will still have a really good experience even if you only get the retail version. You just won't have like the 3D ships or the awful looking asteroids, which look better now that I painted them.
much better painted.
Have you painted yours yet?
Totally not.
Okay, but you saw I showed you my painted ones.
Yeah,
It's way better.
Yeah, they look
good.
better.
Yep.
For somebody who can't paint, we're the damn. They look a lot better.
Yeah.
But yeah, Last Light, really fun. You are basically the universe. You're trying to get in. You're trying to collect light. That's your victory points. 20 points, end of the game. And the crazy thing is that you're playing a card from your hand. It stays out on the table until you play the card that lets you pick up all your cards. But you can't pick that card up until everybody has played that card, and then you can get that card back to your hand. And so you're going to get different texts that are going to allow you to do, things a little bit differently, maybe upgrade your ships, maybe let you pick up your cards faster. And then when you're getting into the planets, after everybody picks up their one card, their refresh card, then the whole galaxy moves, rotates. So
there's 2 different rotating boards on there.
So, like 1 minute, I'm like, oh, everything is like really close to me. And then it's like, oh no, like my stuff has moved all the way
Then all that
over
stuff
there.
that Mike barely moved on the map on his side is also now
it's
here
like
in your face.
crap.
Yeah.
And so just lots of fun with that. I know Bob has some concerns about like rushing the middle, like being a...
Yeah, that's how you rush in the middle. I just think that
They're
I'm worried
getting the
end
command
will
card, right?
devolve into just, how many times can I get my command card back? But we'll see.
And that's fair because you do need to move. But I
Correct.
think if you can it's random. The planets, what they produce. If you can put like like the little mine thing on a planet that
Extractor.
produces light, an extractor that produces light, and you just hold on to that, and like you could
try to mine
that might
more.
be as many
alt
times I
win.
can pick that card up,
Sure.
right? And
Yeah.
then get some ships in the middle because you get points for that.
Yep.
But anyways, Last Light really good, super fun, enjoy it quite a bit.
It's really good. Made my top 100.
I'm becoming less and less interested to play it because the more they play it, the more I'm gonna get destroyed. So
Simple learning curve.
haven't,
though.
haven't
So
played
far,
it yet.
Spencer and I are the winner.
Yeah. Well,
So you got
that's
a shot.
weird game then.
You got a shot.
How do you two win?
Incorrect. I won one of those games.
did
I
you?
beat Spencer that game.
Oh, you beat Spencer. Okay, so
you guys were
definitely-
beating
Spencer
on
was
Spencer
running
and
away.
ignoring me.
You
And I was like,
definitely have a
I
shot.
feel like it's less. Yeah. This is unbelievable.
the guy that
definitely
never
got a
wins
shot.
won.
Yeah,
So
Bob
you got
only
a
got
shot,
one
Dan.
point.
Twice and haven't won yet.
Yeah.
What a weird
odds?
game.
No wonder you think it's weird.
Yeah, it is.
that command card problem.
Yeah.
Bob's top 500.
Okay, my number 45 was 43 last
plummeting.
year, and that is Anacri by Mind Clash Games. Bob, take it away.
Oh, yeah. Anachrony's fantastic. We're worker placement, time travel, exosuits, asymmetrical player powers. You got your own base. And you have leaders that are asymmetrical also with different, take them on now.
Oh, you're right. Dan
But
was
yeah,
right.
it's great. But no, even some of the expansions are fantastic. There's this Blink module.
Okay, well, I haven't played with those. It is a really good game. It's a little over-encumbering for me to have higher than this, and again, it dropped slightly even though I just played it, recently on Board Game Arena. I just think there's a lot going on. I had to be retaught the game when I played this way. Basically, I had to have Bob sit down and point out every single icon for me and what it meant again, because it's just been so long. I did really well, honestly, I'll say, just for me. I don't know what an average score in the game is, but I felt like I was winning for most of the game, and I wound up losing by 8 points, but I don't feel like is a lot in that. So coming from basically feeling like I was new to the game again, I felt like, yeah, okay, even though there's a lot going on here, you can catch on to a strategy and go with it. The time travel element is funny because I'm obsessed with time travel and it's fantastic, but also it's completely ignorable. You cannot do it.
Yeah.
And you have a
and
hard
still-
time winning.
Yeah, really?
Yes, because you get a lot of points for traveling back in time and completing that.
I guess that's true.
They do reward,
Redoing them,
They
you're
do
right.
try to get you. I mean, I like that they entice you to use that mechanic because, like Dan said, you can just try to not do it.
Sure.
I don't want to mess with any of the
And you
paradoxes. I don't want to pay
think
this
you
stuff
could probably
back.
be competitive, but it's an easy way to gain
Tough.
points.
Yeah, because I think I only did it 3 times. Went back, I'm saying, and
Sure.
then fixed it. The basic
Back to the
premise
Future
is
1,
on
2,
your
and-
turn you can choose to borrow things from the future, basically, and say okay, I'm just gonna have an extra green resource this time because I need it, right? And you can just say that, and you can do up to 3 or something like that, right? 2. You can do up to 2
warp tiles per era.
But in the future, you have to be able to go back in time and repay what you borrowed from at least the era you borrowed it from or whatever, so the time makes sense. Or you start getting paradoxes, which are very bad.
Yeah, you have to roll a die if you have
yeah.
the most of those in the area.
And so it's a really cool way to get time travel into the game while also just having it be a normal mechanic. You just get an extra resource this turn, and at some point in the future, you have to take an action to go back enough spaces and just pay it back. You know, it's really not that crazy.
And it's more expensive the further in the future you are, right?
Well, it depends. Like, so you have 3 different spots to build like time machines, and then those will have an amount of spaces you can go back. So it's like if you let it sit longer and longer, now you're like 5 eras
Yeah, you
ahead.
can't go back
You'll
that
have to
far.
travel back probably like twice in order to get back
Right.
that far to
to-
pay that back.
But it also just has a really interesting system where there's basically an outside and an inside area, right? And so in order to go outside, you have to have mechs, right? But you don't just have
Exosuit.
mechs, whatever. You have to have mechs. No, so you have to have exosuits, and
Exomechs.
you don't just start with exosuits. You have to basically choose at the start of your turn how many you're going to be using for that round.
Power 'em up.
And that's just a really interesting thing of being like, oh man, okay, well, so let's say I powered up 5 this round and I only used 3 guys outside because the engine I did, well, I wasted resources on the other 2, you know? So there's just some really interesting stuff going on here, and I do think it's a really good game. Not as good as Bob. We will hear about
fantastic.
that at some point.
Probably.
Oh yeah.
We will.
Maybe.
I mean, if it fell that far,
Yeah. From where it was.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where did I have
Pretty
it last
sure it was
year?
one.
It was
with a bullet from the future.
Yeah. He was already shot when I got here.
I love how thematic it is
Yeah.
compared to how heavy it is.
I will say though, again, going off of how complicated the game is, last thought, I guess. It does really have to be taught, which is why going in, and I knew that, I asked Bob to basically explain every single spot because Levi is playing a game. I don't know if he still is. Levi's playing a game with him, and he said, I've literally just hit past the last 20 turns. I don't know if they've caught on yet because I literally don't know how to play the game. It wasn't explained to me. It's too complicated. And so Levi.
He's not doing terrible.
Levi has said he's literally hit pass for the last like 20 turns. He just hasn't done anything. And so it's because the game is overwhelming. You're looking at that and you're just like, oh my god.
I thought he knew how to play when I
It's
invited him.
all
nope,
icons.
That's funny.
So anyway.
Hilarious. But now, in Levi's defense, he didn't know how to play gizmos either, and he
won, he said.
smoked
Yeah,
me.
so-
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's an entirely language independent
Not
game.
exactly as heavy as an acronym.
Not quite. Slight differences in those
all
games.
icons. So the learning curve, when you haven't played it for a while, you got to relearn all those icons.
But the iconography is strong. And
It is. It's good. My number 45, this one slipped a bit just because I haven't played it in a couple years, but I've played a lot from Roxley Games. It's Steampunk Rally. This is one of the first racing games that I really found out I enjoyed. And I just love that you are these inventors, and it's an engine building game where you're building an engine that is racing you around a track. So first person past the finish line wins, but you're just drafting these cards and adding them to your machine. And then once everyone's drafted their cards, then you're going to collect dice and you're going to roll them and place them on these cards. That'll give you movement, or maybe they'll give you ways to repair your ship because you've damaged your ship while you're racing. I just really enjoy this one. I like the push and pull of I can go the fastest route, but it's more dangerous, so parts are going to be flying off of my ship. So I either got to try to repair those or just say, screw it, I'll let those parts fly off and I'll put new parts on the next round because maybe you didn't like those cards the best anyway. And so, or you can just take the safe route where you're constantly repairing and you're avoiding those shortcuts so that you're keeping your engine, everything on there as you want it. But man, it just feels really good. I really like Steampunk Rally. I backed the Fusion expansion stuff, and I still haven't even used it. So
I love how steampunky it really feels because you're like adding those steam into your vehicle to get the motion out of it. Then you got to spend turns like letting that steam out and pipping those dice down to release the pressure till it finally falls off, and then you can pump steam back into it to use it again. And it actually feels steampunky.
yeah, there's a vent phase where
Yes.
you're pipping those
dice down.
the dice down, and we have our first Bobism. It's Steampunky.
Steampunky.
Yeah. And then our first
that what you were
Mikeism is
writing down?
pipping them dice down.
Pipping them dice.
Pipping them dice.
Big pimpin'.
Big pippin'.
Big pippin. Spin the G's.
It's always weird when Scotty does that.
We need to get, he didn't know. But we should get Mike a shirt that it just on the back says Big Pippin.
Big
Big Pippin.
Pippin. I love it.
right.
Yes.
Another game I haven't played.
Yeah, I
is,
need to play this again. I
this is
played
the
it one
top
time
list.
and didn't like it.
My
Games I
dad
haven't
really
played.
liked it. That's something that's super thematic. Like as you're taking the damage, you're trying to go super fast, and pieces are falling off. So you're like, got this contraption. You're coming down the mountain. You're just trying to get across the finish line, and you're at least
so
the
you're just-
cockpit,
you're just a
right? So
chair.
everything else can fall off there
Yeah.
as long as you. across the finish line, you're good to go.
Yeah. I had it at 38 last year, so it fell a little bit. But again,
bit.
I haven't played it in a couple years.
it
But
happens.
12 plays, I know how much I like this game. So
Yeah, I need to play it. I need to just give this one another shot.
great.
Okay.
But, all right, Bobby.
44.
44.
So I was surprised that this one wasn't on my list last year. I've played it quite a bit. It is a great family game, party game, one of the newer kind of word games that's out there, Blank Slate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is like it's either got a word and a blank or a blank and then a word, and everybody has a little card and they're writing down what word they think it is. And you want to try to match with exactly one person. If you and one person exactly match, you're getting 3 points. If more people match, you all get 1 point. If you don't match with anybody, you don't get any points. And then you play to like 25, I think it is, but you can play like up to 8 people. And yeah, it's just a great, quick, easy to learn word game. I love word games.
This is a really good one, especially when you're playing with like new people, like people you haven't met
Yeah.
before. Like we've had a
Figure out where
lot
the brain goes.
Yeah,
Like
well-
word association kind of thing.
Yeah. It's fun because then it's kind of an icebreaker when you match with somebody you've never met before, and you're like, oh hey,
Hey,
all right,
yeah, okay.
all right.
You spelled wild the same way I
Yeah.
did. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. No, this is good. This is really good. I enjoy this game quite a bit.
Didn't make my list. It's a really good game. I just honestly think, I know I'm kicking a dead horse here because I'm Dan and I say this all the time, but I just honestly think whenever I think about it, whenever I'm like someone says, would you like to play Blank Slate? My brain just goes, I'd just rather play just one. I just would. Like,
Sure.
there's nothing wrong with Blank Slate at all. It's really fun, and every time we play it, I have fun. But if both are sitting at the table, I'm never going to choose it over just one. That's just me.
I think for me, maybe, I don't know that it makes it better, but I think why I might pick it over just one would be that just one is not really competitive. It's
Right.
a co-op.
Might be why I prefer it,
And,
sure.
and Blank Slate is definitely like that competitive, but
Right.
everybody still kind of has to work
You know
together.
what he's going to say? Don't write that word down. He gets one more match. He's going to win. Yeah.
You know, so you still have to kind of work together, but it is,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah. So anyway.
Something that we got to review recently that'll be out. Actually, it just came out
already
that I
out.
really enjoyed was Subtext Showdown.
Yeah.
That had that sort of similar, if I match with you, we get points mechanic. I enjoyed that one quite a bit.
Yeah, I
Blank
like-
Slate's good too.
I think that's good. I think that's real good. All right, my number 44 is new to this list because I just played it for the first time like late last year, and
Call to the new.
then got it. It's been around for a while, at least. But it's,
Called it the 2 years ago.
yeah. There is a newer version of this game out, but I kind of just lump them both in together because I played the original version more, and that is Everdell. I think Everdell's really good, a very satisfying engine builder,
Haven't played
great artwork, great mechanics, and everything.
Play the new one.
The tableau of it, you know, you get the cards and you're just buying the things, you're making your engine, you know, you fill up after so many, you know, constructs or whatever in your tableau. Super fun, really satisfying.
Cool.
I enjoy Everdell quite a bit.
It was good. Andrew is the one that was obsessed with that and introduced us to it, and I think we all liked it.
Yeah.
Far Shore is better, I think. But Everdell's fine. It's very similar. So, yep. My 44
Is.
was 39 last year, and that is Abomination: The Heir of Frankenstein by Plaid Hat Games. This was also on my top 10 games for the Halloween season. I think it actually was my number 1, but my memory's garbage. But it's definitely one of the best games for that season just due to the atmosphere it portrays. This is a game where everyone is basically their own Dr. Frankenstein, trying to be the one that brings their body back to life most successfully. And you are stealing bodies from the cemeteries, and sometimes if you're desperate, you need fresh parts, you're just stabbing people on the street and taking them home yourself.
Or animal parts.
Animal parts, yeah, which
right.
are less quality,
80%
but
Tiger
hey,
blood.
if you get it to work, you know, that's fine.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Viable
And
strat.
it's just a fantastic game. Really good components, even in the base game, although the advanced ones do help.
Yeah, there's some really cool options out there for bits.
Yeah, for the bits and bobs of that game, because it's a bunch of body parts. You literally are putting together the body parts on this little 3D person that you're building, and then you are building up electrical charges so that you can pull the lever and shock him and see if he comes to life. And it's just a really really, really fun, engaging worker placement game that is a really cool theme, and I love the dark atmosphere the game sets up. So, Abomination: The Heir of Frankenstein, I highly suggest checking it out. It does play a little long, and make sure you look up the tiebreakers, because there's some sneaky tiebreakers in that game that Bob really likes to take advantage of.
Yeah, totally.
They've
I'd
also
much rather win like straight out. But, hey.
They've also got on BGG. There's a designer variant, the Igor
Quick
variant
Start,
that shortens
yeah.
the game a little.
I have not played it with that, and I would suggest it, even though I haven't played with it yet, because I do think that the play time is the biggest negative of the game, and so a quick start sounds fantastic.
But yeah,
Everyone-
it is super good game.
I hear
Real good.
a lot that it improves the game by using that. So. All right, my number 44. I know this is going to be on some other lists. This is new to my list. This is a remix of another game that
there.
we all like a lot. But this year, I played it for the first time last year, but this year I bought it and then took it on vacation and played it a whole bunch.
When did you
It's
go on vacation?
Marvel Remix.
Okay.
Marvel Remix is a remake of Fantasy Realms, which is already a fantastic set collecting game as it is. But then they made a Marvel version, and then they improved some things, including the art. And it's just the superior version. It trumps Fantasy Realms in every way, in my opinion. But Fantasy Realms. Marvel Remix is great. Just a very simple game where you start with cards on the table. Wait. I forget if you start
So
with the cards
simple.
on the table.
It's
No.
so simple.
It's been a couple months.
cards
No, you're
start
drawing
in
and
the
you
You
center.
discard
discard
cards.
to the table.
When there's
and
10
the-
cards on the table,
so
that's
easy.
game
that
over,
triggers
man.
the end game.
This
Are
game
you
So
sure
so
you like this guy?
yeah,
I like
you're
it so much.
accumulating cards on the table, and once you get to 10, that triggers the end game. So you can lengthen the game by
Increasing the
drawing
number of
from
tables.
the discard instead of drawing from the deck. But you're trying to collect these sets of cards that score off of each other while really assembling like a superhero team. So
You're basically designing the fight. It's one of the coolest little hand management things ever. Like, you have to have a villain in your hand, and you have to have a hero or an ally in your hand, and then you can have environments, you can have like equipment and all this stuff. And so basically at the end of the game, you say, okay, in my hand, Captain America is fighting Red Skull using his shield and Jane Foster's help, and then they're fighting at Stark Tower, and like you're designing the fight. It's so cool. This is a fantastic game, and this would be in my top 10 gateway games. I think Marvel Remix is a fantastic game to play with people who don't play games, and just show them what fun you can have in such a simple package.
Yeah, it's very straightforward.
yeah, every time you play it, you always get somebody that wants to play it again. Never play it once. It's impossible. I don't think it's possible, actually.
No, my mom played it, and she got the high score the first time we played, like the highest score I'd ever seen. I don't remember what it was, and she immediately was like, "Can we do that again? I want to beat my score." Like, it was just,
Oh, good luck, lady.
yeah, it was really fun.
All right. Good picks. Good picks. 43. 43.
So this one was not on my list last year, even though it was new to me last year. But recently I've been really wanting to play it. So it crept its way because that way that algorithm works, right? This or that. Unfathomable. It's a great game where it's Battlestar Galactica redo, right? But it's the H.P. Lovecraft theme to it. But you have this big ship, and you're all working together to try to move your ship through the water while all these spawn are coming in, and you're trying to leave them all behind. You've got hidden traitors. And one of my things I like about this game, as to a lot of the other types of games that are similar to this, is the chaos deck, right? Because everybody's putting their cards in, saying what they can do to help, this and that. And that chaos deck, I think helps the traders so much because otherwise you play the thing and things like that where it's like you're saying what you're going to put in there and you'd be like, well, that card wasn't in there, or wait a minute, there should be 2 of these, but that chaos deck, that's chaos, and you're just like, oh my god, I can't believe the chaos deck did to us that round, right? It's yeah, but it's a ton of fun. And if you like Dead of Winter, games like that have those hidden traders in it, try this game out. It's super cool. The minis are nice, and yeah, I think that was great.
Yeah, I'll talk about it later.
Top 100 for me. It's really good.
Yeah, top 100 for me as well. I think it's possible it's in here, but I don't think so.
It
My
is
memory's
definitely in my top 100.
Yeah.
Can't
I just need to
confirm.
play it again. It's been a while.
It's been a while. That's why I think it's because I say I didn't play it at all this year. I don't think.
No,
I've been
we
wanting
didn't.
to. I've been trying to get people to, but it's hard. You gotta,
What I recommend is
4 or
that you
5.
have somebody bust out their Nintendo Switch while you're teaching it, and then
Yeah.
and then allow them to just complain the whole time
Right.
that they don't.
but trying to find someone who
14.
has a Switch and wants to come over.
Yes, I got someone for you.
No, I love that game. Even despite that happening. All right, my number 43 has fallen a lot, but I still love this game. It is in my top 50 for a reason. And honestly, if I played it last week, it probably wouldn't be as low as it
low,
was.
sure.
But it's been a minute since I played it. This game it's super fun. It's very rewarding, and it is responsible for some weird things in my life, specifically Dan and Mike, and that is Lords of Hellas.
That dropped a lot.
It was my 15.
You finally realized, oh yeah, that is how I met these guys.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Realization has set in.
For everything that was said earlier, I mean, it just feels epic. It's very cool. It looks great. The production value is just top notch. This is Awakened Realms, designed by some people whose names I will not destroy. But
Kopinski's one of them.
Yeah.
But-
Adam Kopinski, yeah.
they're very good. This game is very good. It's really enjoyable. I'd love to play Lords of Ragnarok. I didn't
too.
back it because it looked very similar, just Viking themed, and I was kind of over Viking stuff, whatever.
Hey.
But I do love, hey, we're Vikings. But I do love the Greek mythology theme more, anyways.
Right.
And it's just very cool, and it just feels good. All the different paths feel fun. They feel viable, and I just really like this game quite a bit.
Something that people don't talk about too is that this game's action system, while fantastic, is basically just the play cards until you have to play a card to pick up your hand again system
just-
that people love. It's just an action selection instead.
You're just
And this
covering it
game
up on
did
your
it
player board.
before a lot of games did it with the cards. You know, people are like, "Oh, the card selection in Ankh, it's so good," blah blah blah. And it's just so cool to see Lords of Hellas doing this
A
thing.
similar thing, yeah.
that's so long ago. You know, there's games that did it way before Lords of Hellas. But I'm just saying, like, no one I think really points out the fact that
Correlates
it's
those two
the
together,
same
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I think it's because it's down on your
Visual,
player
right.
board.
Yeah.
It feels different, so you attribute it to like a different mechanic.
Yeah,
Or
you're basically just marking things over and over again until someone builds a monument, and
then you can clear.
clears
And
it.
then build them on it and refreshes.
Yeah.
I'd argue this game also has the most fantastic miniatures of
Oh.
any game out there.
It's easy. Yeah, I think it's.
Well, the way you actually
Build
physically
those
build the
statues.
monuments,
Super
the
cool.
and they all look great.
Yep.
Zeus with the lightning chain.
I don't remember if I said this when you were talking about it, but my only issue with Lords of Hellas, I think it's an amazing game. Maybe I'll talk about it at some point. But I wish that a victory condition was quests.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that is a main aspect of the game of something that people can focus a lot. Like, people focus the fighting, people focus the area control. Some people want to focus questing. I think that's a really thematic thing to
They
do.
almost don't do enough. I mean, they give you
They
nice
give you
rewards
important
and
stuff, but like, I feel like complete 5 quests or something should have also been a win condition.
I think the reason it's not is because it's hard to block people from doing quests.
True.
Where you can block people with the monuments, you can block people with the.
Well, that's true. That's why I'm just saying set it as a high enough number that because quests take a long time
Sure.
to do unless you're already kicking butt in the game anyway.
Right.
So as long as it's a high enough number, like 5, 6, or something like that, like no one completes that many quests in the game, you know?
fair.
So having it be just like a possible win condition for someone who wants to do them, because you have people who just do questing the whole time and they'll just never win because that's just what they like doing. Oh, it's such a cool thematic thing.
Hey.
That's it. But
If
it's
they
a
like doing
fantastic
that
game.
and it lets me win, that's fine. Thanks.
Oh, and the only other issue with the game too is the expansions are impossible to get. I want them and I can't get them.
you really do need the buildings
The
expansion,
terrain.
I have
the
that
terrain
one.
box. That's
That
the
was
most
the only
important.
one that was easy to get. Like, I think that one's still available, as a matter of fact.
Oh,
but
sure.
like, and the Atlas one is kind of easy to get, but it's overpriced. But like the 5th player expansion,
Yeah.
good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck getting the 5th player expansion. And it's a game that I would desperately like to play with 5 players.
Yeah.
Every time I get that game to the table, 5th
The extra island is pretty cool.
Damn it! 'Cause we're not playing this game now.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. All right, Lord Zealous, that's my 43.
My 43 was 29 last year. I think it's my only Madiga game on the list, but we'll see. And that is Captain Sonar.
Yeah.
Talk
good
about
game.
liking real-time co-op games, man.
Yeah,
I mean, technically it's team-based, but whatever. My team's cooperative. But Captain Sonar, everyone probably already knows, but it's 2 teams of
Up to 4.
Yeah, 2 teams of 4, so 8-player game up, and I would recommend playing it at max players. And everyone has an asymmetric little thing they're doing, and it's a real-time game where we are moving sub. I used to call it Battlefield on Acid, I think is what I used to call it, because basically, I said Battlefield. Yeah,
Yep.
Battlefield's a video game that's really good, but or at least used to be. Battleship on Acid. And yeah, it's we're moving submarines and we're calling out our things like the captain's going west, north, east, and someone on the other team is listening to the commander and drawing on a projector screen basically over a map and trying to figure out where they are so that they can communicate to the captain on when you should have missiles or torpedoes ready and fire those torpedoes. Meanwhile, one player is just keeping track of all the directions because they're marking off what special abilities the commander can activate at any time. It just a really, really fun real-time game that I get to play maybe once a year, and every time it's a highlight of my life.
Recommend playing at 8. I wouldn't play with fewer than 6.
Yeah,
I
6
think
is fine.
3 on each team
Yep.
minimum
Yep,
is
3 to 8.
doable.
And if you're playing with less than 6, Sonar is
Just play
also
Sonar.
a good game. Sonar is 2 to 4 players, and it's just a much smaller, more streamlined version, but it's still a really good game. It feels more tactical, Sonar does, because it's not real time. Sonar is only turn-based, and so you actually feel like this tactical back and forth, as opposed to Captain Sonar, which can feel like chaos. So it's 2 totally different feelings, but both I think are great.
I love it. Real time, hidden movement. So much fun.
Yeah, real-time hit movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, something that doesn't get talked about a lot. Yeah.
Only thing it needs is just a system where you go engineer locked.
Yeah,
It's-
exactly.
oh my gosh. Okay, hang
You're
on.
locked. Yeah, it makes everything better.
The radio guys, radio notes are locked.
Yeah, exactly.
Listening in. All right.
All right, Mike.
My number 43, I played a lot of new to me roll and writes this year. And this is the only one that actually snuck into my top 50. And that's Hadrian's Wall.
Nice.
Hadrian's Wall is a very crunchy roll and write game from Garfield Games. Man, the theme is kind of non-existent. I mean, you're defending
How
Hadrian's
dare you talk
Wall,
about Rome like that? I think
But-
it was Rome.
I don't even really remember, but it's really like, okay, we're going to pull a community card. It's going to tell you the different resources you're going to start with. Then you're going to pull from your individual deck, which may have varying bricks or worker colors to use, and go. And then it's like everybody's playing multiplayer solitaire, but it's this very crunchy, I don't want to say efficiency puzzle because it's not. It's resource management. It is
Hardcore.
Is there a variant where you can build the wall but make your opponents pay for it?
Wow.
Just check. Just wondering.
We're trying so hard to get demonetized this
Oh
video.
my gosh, that's the United States
Curious.
wall.
Asking for a friend.
Yeah.
But no, it's just really good. I mean, you're just kind of converting workers into other things that you can input in other areas. Meanwhile, you're building up that wall and you're building up your defenses against attacks. And there's just a lot of things going on. You've got 2 sheets and there's a lot of different inputs, and you're just converting and you're chaining as many things as you can together. And it just feels really good. It's one of those roll and writes that has combos where this will turn into that and that will give you this and this. And I like that in games. So Hadrian's Wall was a really good experience for me. I need to pick up a copy, honestly.
It's a game of desperately trying to prolong your turn.
Yes.
You know, like, okay, if I spend this yellow guy, he'll get me this, which will turn into this, which will get me a green guy. then I can spend the green guy, and like you have one resource left, and you're trying to keep chaining that
Yes.
into
That's how like
infinite
Forges of Ravenshire feels too.
Yeah.
Yes,
resources.
I love that in games where I'm just prolonging my turn.
Yes.
I only played it once and it was solo, but I thought, honestly, again, as someone who doesn't like rolling rights, I thought this was a really, really good one. Talk about a game, some people are going to hate this, talk about a game where it is impossible to do everything. You're like, looking at all this stuff and you're just like, well, I really want to work on my schools, but like, I can't work on my schools if I'm also going to work on this, and then if I'm going to work on this, just so much on that board. You wind up ending, and there's just parts of your government you've had to ignore completely because you just didn't have the resources. So yeah, it's a really good one.
Yeah, it's on BGA. I've been playing it on there a little bit, but it's also very much in depth. You go any amount of time without playing it, and you'll forget what some of the stuff does. So,
well, yeah, and I think though, for having again so much going on and so many options, I thought it was very easy to learn.
Yeah.
Like when I taught myself out of the rulebook, it was just like, yeah, okay, you just, where are you assigning your resources? And again, the main thing to keep in mind is how do I make sure that the starting resources I start this round with are not the only resources I have this round? How do I make sure that I turn these 6 resources into 12 resources so that I can spend more this round than I actually started with? That's like the main point of the game, or else you're gonna collapse. I think that it's not hard to go, yeah, okay, I'll put some there. Even if you don't fully know what you're working towards at the beginning when you're learning the game, you know that by putting that there, you're going to get more resources. And not only is this round now better, but all your future rounds are now better because of doing that. And I think that it's, I don't know if intuitive is the right word, but it's very easy to catch on to what is useful, even if you don't fully understand why you're doing it early on. Good game.
yeah, you don't get to keep your resources from round to round. You got to use them up, and then you draw new ones. So you got to try to put them into a space when you can.
Use them or lose them.
Yep, use them or lose them.
All right. Haven't played. Sounds fun.
That's great.
I haven't played either.
42
is the answer.
42. Life, the universe, and everything.
It is. So this is the game that has fallen the second most. One of my favorite co-ops. I haven't played in a really long time, but I did just get a bunch new of spirits to use.
Oh.
Spirit Island.
Wow.
Yes,
It fell
fell.
out
I
of
was
your
gonna
top
say.
10.
Fell out of my time. I haven't played it in so long. I've still played it digitally a little
ahead of
bit,
the
but not as
curve.
much. Yeah, no. But I did just get, like I said, they just had an expansion come out. I really want to get it back to the table and try it again, but there's just been a lot of other stuff I've been playing recently that has just kind of gotten pushed back.
This is one I really want to play.
Yeah, I will gladly teach it to you. Put that in your little.
Typing it.
Yep. There you go.
Bobism will gladly teach.
Yes. Well, it's co-op, so it's.
So yeah, it's better.
It's co-op-y.
Yeah,
There we
it's
go.
very
Yeah.
co-op-y.
Very co-op-y.
But it's great.
all right.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it a lot before, right? So there's these spirits, people worshiping on the island.
So Tim,
invaders
what
are
is
coming
your
in and
42?
trying to get them out. Yes.
So my 42, completely on purpose, is also something to do with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So long, and thanks for all the fish. Oceans has fallen from 34 to my 42. Oceans is really good. North Star Games. You're basically like this tableau builder. You're building up your own fish, your own ecosystem, but then you're feeding off of others. And then there's the dark cards, which are all unique, and there's a gigantic stack of them. And it's got this fun mechanic with the little ocean tray, right, with where the fish are, and that's basically your game timer as well. And I just really like this game. It's super fun. I just also, like you, just got an expansion for it. The Kickstarter filled, so I need to get this back to the table again. Kind of like Lords of Hellas. If I played this a little more recently, maybe it wouldn't have fallen as much.
Yeah.
But the game is beautiful. It's super fun. It is one of the first ones we ever did for the show. Kind of came out of nowhere for me, and I really loved it. I really, despite its meanness, really did like Evolution, and this kind of killed Evolution.
Yeah.
And it just plays better. It's not as it's still mean, but it's not as mean. It's still it's
Right, you
more
don't wipe
satisfying.
somebody's thing out. They've been
I
working
actually
the
think
whole
my
thing
only
for.
problem with Oceans is I wish it was slightly meaner.
Yeah, fair
Which is
enough.
funny because I strongly dislike Evolution. I think the game is way too mean to the point of
Same.
not being fun. And I wish Oceans was slightly meaner because you watch someone's engine going away and you're just like, there's literally nothing I can do about that. Like, he's going to win. There's nothing I can
sure.
do to stop his engine now. And I wish there was slightly more hateful interaction. In
Well,
Oceans.
play with Bob and I will just like scowl at you the whole time. Be like,
Yeah.
oh, it's now slightly meaner.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Evolution is an engine destroyer.
Dan, it's your turn, you idiot.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This game's great. This game's
destroying the
mean.
man's self-esteem, not his engine.
Yeah,
Good
well.
Lord.
Yeah, no, I agree, though.
It just, as soon as you get something out, it's gone.
Yeah,
And you just have to hope that once it was destroyed, it got you something.
Yeah, right, yeah.
that's just-
I
But if you
hated
get the
that.
deluxe version of that, it's totally worth it because it comes with like the fancy fish and sleeves.
And sleeves.
And it's
Yeah.
barely
Yes.
more expensive.
Yeah, it's not even
Yeah,
that much
it's
more.
not that much more. And
You're gonna pay way more to sleeve it than normal sleeves.
the nicer dark cards and all that stuff.
The
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oceans.
the
It was in my top 50 last year. I'm pretty sure it did not make it this time, but it's a good game.
Yeah. So that's my 42. Oceans, love it.
My 42. It's funny. I did not realize this when I made the list because my 43 was Captain Sonar, and my 42, just beating it this time, is U-Boot, the board game, or U-Boot or U-Boat, depending on which mixture of pronunciations you want to do. Because I actually think U-Boot is not correct in either language. It would either be U-Boot or U-Boat, and we tend to say U-Boot. So I don't know. I'm not an expert on the German
murdering it in
language.
2 languages.
But this was 34 last time by Phalanx, and it's just Submarine Team the Simulator. It is amazing. I've only played this game once. Now
Do you
I
have
will say,
back-to-back submarine games on your list?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
It was
just
Captain
saying.
Sonar and then U-Boot. But
U-Bot.
I've only played this game once, but we played it for like 5 hours, and it's one of the highlights of my gaming career. This game is incredible. I spent a week of my life before playing this game learning how to actually navigate a submarine using their instruments, because in the game, I was the navigator, and you have to use instruments to navigate the submarine. I have instruments that I am literally measuring on a map, and depending on how many millimeters we're going is how far we're traveling on this map, and we're faster depending on the depth we are underwater. So if you're closer to the surface, the submarine travels faster, and I'm having to take that into account while doing this simulation. Also, there's food, and depending on what food you're mixing together on this little food pyramid, you're making different meals, which affects the people's morale. I was also in charge of that. So there's all this insane simulator stuff. Oh, your morale is too low? The commander has to send people up for cigarette breaks on the top of the submarine, which means we have to surface, which slows us down and makes us more open to the dangers of other ships and stuff like that. But if we have too low of morale, our people will stop working and we won't be able to get our stuff done. So we have to go up and surface so that people get cigarette sip breaks. I literally can't. This game's amazing. I was blown away. I want to play it again. It's just that, again, we played for 5 hours last time and never even finished. We were just, I don't know if there is a finish. You just kind of
Go to the next
live
mission.
the life of a submarine crew. Yeah, I was just blown away. This experience was fantastic, and if any of that stuff sounds interesting to you at all, you also have a giant 3D submarine that you're actually moving your people around, because if the engineer's in this quarter, he can only fix things that are in this quarter of the submarine, and he takes time to travel to the other quarters if things need repair, or if there's a leak or anything like that, or if there's a fire. All this stuff is so in-depth and realistic. I was blown away with what Phalanx did here, and I just, again, one of the best experiences of my board gaming career. I love U-Boat.
They just redid Kickstarter, and they have a new submarine, which it looks like the same thing, but it's not cardboard. It's actually
Yeah,
plastic
it's
now.
actually resin now. I was
Yeah.
wondering if you were going to not back Kickstarter on the game, but just spend the
Get that-
$90 for that.
I thought
or
about
whatever.
it, but if we had played it more than a couple times.
Exactly.
yeah.
I get it, man. I get it. I want to play it more, but that's a
It's
lot
tough.
of time
Yeah.
to put into that,
Yeah, research.
I own it, and will just because I want to play it. I just want to play this game so bad.
Super cool. Very interesting.
I need to play that one too. My number 42 will be from our first friend of the show mention. Oh. I know 3 of us at this table have played it. This is new to us this year. Kind of slipped under my radar a little bit as a 2022 release, but then I bought it. Well, actually, Bob bought it for me at Origins. This is Resurgence by Half a Kingdom Games and Stan Kordonski. This is a great game that mixes several mechanics together. It's got bag building, it's got worker placement, it's got engine building, and you're kind of just sort of using workers that limit where you can go. So only certain workers can go to certain locations. And of course, those are the workers that you're pulling out of your bag. But then you're also doing this engine building with those recruitment cards that you can pull, because they give you these fun synergies. Like, every time I gain one of these, I'll also gain one of these. Well, you can get multiple versions of that type of card, and you can proc 3 or 4 of them in a turn, and it just feels really satisfying. Or like, okay, I gained an oil, and then that gave me a water, and because I got a water, I also got food, and because I got food, I also got... That just gives you an idea of the combos that you can get in Resurgence, and it's really fulfilling when you get the right synergy of cards going. Just a really, really good game.
I like that you have to like pre-assign your workers to zones behind a screen. So you pull out all your workers, and then you're assigning them behind a screen to one of the 3 areas that are available on the map or your headquarters. And when everybody's ready, you reveal, and then you're like, okay, well, none of them went to the metro, so that dude's good. I can play him later, but this area is gonna be packed. I better go now. It's gonna cost me extra resources to put that guy out there later. And I like a lot of that too.
Yeah, the planning phase is really interesting because it's kind of like moving you up those tracks there, which score you points at the end of the game. I also like how those tracks are also one of the ways to cull the starting workers out of your bag. So you can
retire guy.
Yeah, you're retired, so you can pull your better ones more frequently. Yeah, it's really good.
I'm actually going to snap to this. If you guys haven't seen anything on Resurgence, this game is not talked about enough, and it's a good game. So I suggest checking out that review at some point if you get a chance.
We reviewed it. We all reviewed it very favorably. It's excellent.
I bought it, haven't played it, but I bought it basically on the strength of everybody else loving it so much.
Yep, bought it, played it, loved it.
So.
All right. That takes us down to the last one.
Last one of the day.
41.
So my 41
my
31 has made a resurgence to the list here. No, it's not resurgence. But I used to play this game, loved it. Then it kind of fell off the map for a little while, but recently I taught Mike how to play it, and he pulled this game off the shelf, and he's like, I think this box has the most wear of any box in your collection.
Oh.
Abyss.
Yeah.
It's a great game.
So
It came out
good.
a long time ago with the different box arts and whatnot on there, but you're doing either exploring the depths, and one of the neat things about that is as you flip a card over on your turn, you don't get first dibs at it. The next player does, and then it goes around the table. And if everybody else passes, then I can take that card. But if they want that card, they got to pay me pearls. And then the cards get more expensive as the turns go on. And then you're collecting all those little tiny cards in your hand, and those are allies. And you're going to use those allies to then recruit lords that are on the bottom of the board. And they have got like asymmetrical abilities on them. They all have like, some of them will have like keys on there that will give you the keys to like locations that you can control. Will give you more points at the end. And the expansion adds the black pearls, which are super cool because it really helps to incentivize spending more pearls, because you can't spend those until you've gotten rid of the other pearls. So instead of people just sitting on them, they're like, well, I need to keep spending my pearls so I can start getting rid of some of these black pearls. And yeah, it's just, the art's fantastic. Like I've taught this game to like multiple levels of like gamer, right? Like intro, like my mom really loves this game, but Mike loves this game. So it's like, it appeals to a wide variety of people. And I was just glad to see that it made it back on my list again, because I really enjoyed that game.
Man,
Yeah,
that
we've
game's
been
so
playing
good.
it on BGA. It's good. It
That
It's a
game
little
is
tricky on BGA
so
because
good.
of the way the turns work and having to pass all the time.
Yeah,
But,
I like that it allows you to set, I'll pass on anything 2 and
Yes.
under, so it keeps the game moving a little better.
Which is how I usually do it when we play the normal game too. Or anything 2 or lower, I'm just going to skip.
That's
I'm skipping
exactly
past. So speak up if you want it, and flip. Yeah.
Yep, I like this one. It just missed my top 100.
Nice.
Yeah, Abyss is awesome. I
Haven't
love
played it.
I love it.
We almost
Great,
played it Friday.
great
Almost.
artwork. Is that a
I
Bruno
tried.
Cathala?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay, so my 41 was not on my list last year, but I realized why. Doing doing some looking. It's because I combined it with another game, and I now divided them because I think that they should be discussed on their own merits.
Until next year when they should be combined again.
Correct, to make room for another game.
Well, there's a lot of these.
But no, this is probably the greatest adaptation of an IP in a board game, and that is Battlestar Galactica.
It would have been with Unfathomable last time. Which, hold on, Unfathomable hasn't been mentioned yet. This is ridiculous.
Controversial opinion. Battlestar's great. I think if I have Unfathomable and Battlestar Galactica, I'm gonna ask the person what theme they like better, and that's the one we're gonna play, and we're gonna have a great time.
I'm gonna do that too, but I'm also gonna be slightly pushing
Just-
Battlestar.
Which one of these would you rather play?
I think both are fantastic. I kind of blindly stumbled into BSG, and didn't realize when I got it because I picked it up on a clearance table. I'm like, oh yeah, I need to watch this show. This game's super cheap. I'm just gonna buy it. And then like, holy cats, it became like a very expensive game. And then it's like I got to play it, and I'm like, oh, this is actually really good. The hidden trader mechanic in there is really cool, and the way that you might become a hidden trader, like in the second half of the game.
Yeah, right. All right, guys.
The characters, the voting, all of that stuff in there is so cool. It's really well done. And again, it just perfectly captures the feeling of dread that the show gives you, and that tension. I mean, you're constantly getting beaten down, you know, and you're like almost always when you're able to jump to the next point, it's like you just barely made it. Like it feels like that every time, and that's
Reset
how
the
it feels
clocks.
like in the show, right? Where
Yeah.
you can go, you can kind of reset the board, and then
It's the first episode of the
It is,
show.
yeah,
It's
like
33 minutes.
reset
or
the
whatever.
clocks.
And
Yeah.
It's literally you're just playing the first episode, and they nailed it.
33? That was like 58 or something.
It's 30 something minutes. Is literally
Okay.
the name of the first episode. I can't remember.
You have to keep jumping every so often.
yeah, it's really good. It's really satisfying. It can go a little long, but I think if everybody's already on board, you're gonna have a good time. You just understand that that's what we're here for. That's what we're doing. Let's rock and roll. Let's have a good time and let the accusations fly. But Battlestar Galactica, fantastic game. Just absolutely nails that IP, and that's so rarely done. But this is one of the best. There is probably one that is competitive with it, way higher on my list.
Two-player
Way.
game maybe.
Okay, your turn.
No, I thought you were gonna talk about that. Okay. I just wanted to say, everyone knows I'll talk about Battlestar Galactica
Yeah,
later. But I
for
will
sure.
say the thing that I'll mention now is because you kind of hinted at it too, I played the game before I saw the show. I just,
Yeah.
I don't remember how, but I played the
wow.
game with someone. And I was like, oh, wow, that was really fun. And yeah, this is like a famous show, I think, right? Isn't this like cheesy as hell? I'll check it out, whatever. Then it was on Amazon. And it is one of my favorite shows of all time.
Show's great.
Battlestar Galactica is amazing.
And I love the ending. Controversial opinion.
Oh no,
think
I
the
like
ending's great.
it. I don't know if like love, I guess is, but yeah, I think the ending's
I
absolutely
think
fine.
they stuck the landing.
Sure. Yeah,
I've
which is
heard-
rare.
I've heard people complain about the ending. They don't
Really?
like it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I,
The weird spoiler alert. The weird Gaius in the future thing is
well,
weird.
that part's weird.
Yeah, but yeah, the
Everything
whole
else
planet
is-
thing.
Oh, other
Yeah.
thing? Yeah.
Everything else is fine. I thought it was really cool. I think you just needed
Watch the show.
I think you just needed somebody there, like
Spoilers.
for the character, right, to like walk everybody else through.
Sure.
And sort of like narrate it.
Yeah,
right?
it was almost like a exposition.
Yes.
Bot.
Yes. Yes.
Walking around.
Oh, an exposition bot, you say? Interesting choice of words.
Okay.
Dan's a Cylon.
what do you mean?
Exactly.
Okay, my 41 was 25 last year. Mike, you can go ahead and cheat and look that up really quick. Strangely enough, this is the only game on my entire top 50 by Psychopathic Records. It's
Really?
really
It's the only one?
weird. Yeah,
odd. Yeah.
But that is Into the Echo Side, which is a deck builder set in the ICP universe, I guess you would say. I don't know what else to tell you guys.
The ICP cinematic universe?
One of the best pure deck builders out there. It's usually really hard to get. It comes in waves. It's usually really hard to get. If you like pure deck builders like a Dominion, you know, stuff like that, this is one of the best ones out there. It's amazing. I would not have thought I was going to say that when it was first set up and everything, but I played it. I think it is incredible. It takes what games like Ascension and stuff do, but I just feel it makes the, I don't know what you call them, guilds, factions, whatever you call them in that one, it makes them really, really feel useful. You really feel like if you're building up a bunch of yellow cards, then your yellow cards are proccing better. They're just, you really do feel that.
Crew is
to where in other
repping
games, I feel like doesn't do it as well. Even something like Shards of Infinity, great game. I don't feel like the guilds matter that much in that game. Like, yeah, if you played another green card this turn, you get a small bonus. I just don't think it's as big as in Into the Echo side. I think that they nailed it, and it's a very, very good deck builder. Check it out.
Good, great art too.
is good.
Yeah.
Man, really good art. But sleeve them. Those cards,
cards
that card
are not-
quality
yeah.
is not great.
Yeah.
But that's one of the worst things about the game. You're doing all right.
I mean, it was like basically self-published, right?
Yeah.
Like, so
Don't let the ICP IP fool you. It's a legit game.
that IP I see.
All right. So rounding out our 50 through 41, my number 41, which was Gen Con hotness for all of us, and none of us have played it this year that I'm aware of. And so I thought maybe for some people it would like fall out of their top 50 because nobody's played it this year that I'm aware of. More roll and write crutchiness, Twilight Inscription.
Oh.
I had it at number.
I don't own it.
I had it at, I don't either. I liked it enough. I put it at number 27 last year because we played it twice. And neither
Pretty
time, whether it was with 3 players or we played it another time with with 6 players, it still played in 90 minutes. There's like no downtime. It's pretty much simultaneous play after somebody rolls those huge, wonderful, chunky dice that determine the resources you get each round. But man, as far as roll and writes go, I'd say Twilight Inscription. Yeah, it's my favorite. It's the highest one I have on this list. I just want to play it again. I'll probably pick up a copy and maybe I'll get it played that way. But I haven't because I know a bunch of people in my group that own it. But Twilight Inscription is great.
And it's very expensive. It's a fantastic game. It didn't make my top 50, but it made my top 100. It's very good.
It is. I like it.
Yeah, I want to play it again.
Well done.
Well done.
All right, so you guys want to recap our 50 through 41?
Go 50 through 41 real quick.
We should do that.
All right, so starting with 50 and going down, My Father's Work, Barrage, Brass Birmingham, Lost Ruins of Arnak, History of the World, Orleans, Blank Slate, Unfathomable, Spirit Island, and Abyss.
Wait, I remember when I was re-watching to figure out where things were last year. Somebody said they liked that when the other person was doing a recap, the rest of us were like doing thumbs. So I just thought of
Okay,
that.
so just superimpose thumbs up on all of those for those guys.
Do yours again. Do
No,
yours again.
Bob's are all thumbs down.
Yeah, basically. It's
Do yours again.
Ready? My Father's Work. There we go. Barrage. Yeah. Oh, come on, Dan.
Don't know.
Brass Birmingham. Lost Ruins of Arnak. History of the World.
I don't know.
Orleans. Blank Slate. Unfathomable. Spirit Island.
Don't know.
Abyss.
I haven't played like half those.
All right, everybody ready to throw your thumbs
Yes.
down.
Okay.
My number 50, Heat, Pedal to the Metal,
Yeah.
Cults of the Deep, Treasure Island, Cartographers, Mission Control, Critical Orbit, Last Light, Everdell, Lords of Hellas, Oceans, and Battlestar Galactica, the board game.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Blast off.
Okay, my turn. XCOM, the board game. Nidavellir, Planet Unknown. Korra, Rise of an Empire. Burn Cycle. Anachrony. Abomination, the Heir of Frankenstein. Captain Sonar. U-Boot, the board game. And Into the Echo Side.
I have like degrees of thumb tilt.
Yeah.
I was like,
It's like your access die. on
that's
Sky
right. That's
Team
right.
here.
All
All
right,
right. Number 50, Downfall of Pompeii, Dwellings of Eldervale, It's a Wonderful World, The Crew Mission Deep Sea, Lords of Hellas, Steampunk Rally, Marvel Remix, Hadrian's Wall, Resurgence, Twilight Inscription.
Mike had the most thumbs up from me.
Hey!
Say he had at least for
Did
me.
you guys actually put anything down as far as games you haven't played from other people's list? If not, I'll give you time to think about it. Bob, I got to play Barrage and Spirit Island.
Okay.
Tim, I have to play Call to the Deep.
Yeah.
I still have not
played
played that game.
Yeah.
Treasure Island, and I still have not played BSG. And Dan, I got to play U-Boot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't played Marvel Remix yet.
Oh, my God.
It's a better Fantasy Realms.
I love that game so much. I want to be like, I also haven't played Marvel Remix.
Let's do that right now.
I can't think of any games on your guys' list I haven't played that I want to.
Cheating.
U-Boot. I'd love to play XCOM again. It's been ages.
Yeah.
That was fun.
We need to
Marvel
give Mike a
Remix.
better experience.
We do. We got our
I still
butts
enjoyed
handed
it.
to
I
us.
want to keep
I'm
playing
really
it.
glad you did because I could see people walk away from that being like, "What the hell?"
It was hard, but
History
like
of the world.
you know,
Yeah,
for
been a
sure.
while, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
been a while since I played Abyss. It is not in my top 50, I'll say, but man, I do love that game. Like some of
is
them are
good.
just like I want to go back and revisit some of
Yes.
these games.
Yes.
I want to retry Steampunk Rally. Because the first time I played it was like a learning game. We were playing at like max player count.
Oh yeah, I remember that 8-player game.
Yeah, it was-
it's a weird
Uh,
game to learn. It doesn't play like other games.
It was a nightmare
draft
because
is
it
a little
took so
time-consuming.
long and
8
just
players.
yeah. It was
8
rough.
new.
I've
I think
played-
it was like 6 new players on
Yeah.
an 8-player game.
It was
I've
rough.
still got
Wow.
an 8-player game of that within like an hour 20.
It was rough. It was rough. But anyways, yeah.
I haven't played Abyss, and everyone says it's good, so I would
Yep,
play
you
that
should.
one. And the other one that you just mentioned, also, I like Civ games. I know nothing about History of the World, but it's a Civ game.
The Korra. I want to play
Rise
that
Empire.
really
Yeah,
bad. I
haven't
really
used
want
it.
to play
I
that.
should try that.
Yeah. You should try that,
joke.
Bob.
Elio.
That's
Yeah. Let's just make up letters.
that's just these are how words are pronounced.
What games from our list do you guys want to play the most,
Mm-hmm.
right? So one game from each of our lists. You should have 4 games in the comments of which
Oh.
one you want to play the most or like the most, whichever way you take that. That is always interesting to me, and it shows. And because at the end of our top 50, then we'll each have 5. You'll each have like 5 games from each of us, and that's potentially 20 games right there.
That's so many games.
That's
the
math.
top 20 games you want to play with us.
There you go,
Many
yeah.
games. I love it. All right, guys. Well, this list was awesome.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see how the rest of it unfolds.
Shakes out, yeah.
Sorry about how long the video is, guys. This is our most passionate list of the year.
Happens.
There's just a lot. We want to talk about our favorite games, and the unfortunate part is the closer we get to one, the longer the videos get
Yeah,
because we
probably.
like them
No,
more.
actually, like, my next segment of games, I don't want to talk about them at all.
Okay, we'll skip you.
Bob's just gonna say it. We'll just thumbs
Yeah.
up, thumbs
Yeah,
down. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, it'll also be interesting to see because as this list goes, we're gonna have like crossover at different points. I just want to see if anybody has the same game at the same number.
Right,
Oh,
of
yeah.
course. Yeah.
That's always fun.
It's always fun.
But just exciting to see.
Obviously, they won't all be out at the same time, but once the previous and next episode are available, there will be links that take you in either direction so that you can watch these in order or go back to the beginning if you randomly find yourself in the middle.
Right on. If you found this video useful or entertaining, even mildly so, please consider liking, subscribing, all those things. We have an awesome Discord channel. We have a Facebook group where we post and share things. Mike and I do a live stream every Wednesday
It's a
at
lot of
8
fun.
p.m. Eastern, and we go from 2 to whatever hours, depending on schedules.
If you want to ask a question and totally derail us, that's encouraged. Like we have a very
Yeah.
active live chat on that live stream.
Yeah.
You can drop any question in there and totally derail us, and we'll
The
run
show
with
will
your
go
question.
off
The
the
sh-
rails.
Yeah,
Yes,
well.
it's a lot of fun.
The show of tangents.
We do also have a Patreon if you'd like to support the show financially and help us keep creating this fun content for you. If that's not your bag, at least a thumbs up, thumbs down. You know, we do appreciate the comments, positive or negative. We love interacting with you guys and just having a good conversation, a good debate about games. I mean, we argue with each other all the time about games.
It's,
let's
trying to
ar-
tell someone they're wrong is hard.
Let's argue with you guys too, or talk about it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Speaking of loving to interact and everything, I don't know if we've ever done this before, but while filming this today, we got a comment from Oliver on our Circadian's Chaos Order review, and I just wanted to say thank you, Oliver. That was an incredible comment, well written, just meant, like the passion behind it, the feelings behind it. Just that's the kind of stuff that we do this for. And so just calling you out right now, thank you, Oliver. That was very meaningful to us, and we literally sat here and read it while we were filming this. So
Yeah,
thank you.
we had a moment, and we just really appreciate that. And any feedback, right? We love it.
We appreciate the people that watch and give us feedback.
All right, guys. If that's all,
That's
then
all.
we will see you next time for the Board Game Rundown. I've been Tim.
Bob.
Mike.
Dan.
Thanks for watching.